We have
Hello!
dog.
Welcome everybody to the world famous dog stream. Best stream ever because there is dog.
Gergie is afraid of Trisha when she plays Elden Ring, but he really likes scratches, so he's here.
He loves the cuddles.
It's worth
Look at him cuddling up.
It's worth the danger, right,
He's
Gergie?
in heaven.
Yeah.
Alright, so the update following the last abrupt ending to the Elden Ring stream. It was only like 30 something minutes long because the entire computer shut off again.
Yeah.
Now we have another fan.
I gotta say, it was super badass to see you actually, like, go do the thing. Because I was, like, I had thought about doing exactly what Trisha did, but then I was like, I can't, like, jury rig such, like, a hobo job on, like, my girlfriend's computer.
So then I did it instead.
So I was like, I'll just do nothing. I was like, well, I don't know, eventually I'll, like, figure out whatever to, like, do something else. I just didn't want to be the person to take twisty ties and attach a fan to the inside of Trisha's case and then plug in the fan into a random port on the motherboard so it would take power.
Yeah, right.
But then Trisha was like, well, what do I... Trisha was like, you know, oh, this fan is plugged in somewhere on the motherboard. And I was like, yeah, sure, you could just do that. And yeah.
Yeah.
And she did. It was super cool. It was like my, like, cute grease monkey girlfriend, like, rigging up a mech or something in the cargo bay. It was very... it was cool.
Yeah, right. It's like the little kid. And it's like, I did it all by myself.
Well, you did. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be the one to, like, open up your computer and then fuck something up, so I just... I chose nothing.
Well, right now it is feeling much cooler, so that's a good sign. Hopefully we won't have any more issues with it just shutting off while I'm playing the Elden Ring DLC, because I am actually really excited to play the DLC. I like the game. I enjoy playing Souls-like games, in case you didn't figure that out by now.
Yeah.
And this is basically the only time I get to play them, because usually I'm just like working all day long or moping around, and
Just full-time job being
full-time
depressed.
mope, yeah. And so it's part of the reason why I like the game fan streams, because I get to play the video games that I own. So excited to be playing the DLC.
Yeah.
And hopefully everything is a-okay.
Yeah, you know, I saw someone destroy their computer by, like, just touching the motherboard while they had, like, static electricity. Like, we were having a LAN party. All my friends were getting together. And one of my friends was, like, upgrading his PC at the LAN party because it's like, oh, whatever, it's easier once you've moved the computer, it's easier to get in there. So he was gonna, like, add a graphics card or something, and then he just, like, takes off his sweatshirt because he was, like, hot, and then there was all this, like, you could hear the static, like he was, like, crackling when he took his sweatshirt off, and then I was like, we were all like, don't touch your computer, don't touch your computer.
Yeah,
and he's like, it's fine or whatever, and I think, like, something in, like, dudes is just like, oh, it's more entertaining if I do something that, like, other people are objecting to. And then he just, like, grabs his motherboard, like, just greasy fingers, like, I think we might have been building his computer because his motherboard was outside the computer.
Oh, okay.
So I think we were building him a computer all together. We were, like, helping, and then he just, like, full hand touches the motherboard after he was, like, audibly crackling with static electricity. And
I'm guessing it didn't work.
No, it was cooked. Like the computer, the whole, yeah. There's, like, this, like, if you see, like, stereotypical, like, pictures of, like, dudes putting together their computers in, like, the 90s or whatever, they all have, like, jeans on and are shirtless, like, because you can't, because when you move your arms, theoretically your sleeves could generate static electricity.
Right.
And then there's other things people do where they have, like, these, like, grounding pads now. Like, I guess not now, like, this is, like, an old school thing, but people would do it on a dining room table that's, like, wood, and then they tap on the wood to discharge the static and whatever. So, like, I don't know. There's, like, ways to not be stupid, but
Of course, of course.
Yeah.
And congratulations, Red Wolf Corp Revamped, for being first in chat. I did play a little bit on my own, in case you didn't notice by the fact that there are no enemies around and this door is open now. I managed to... I was trying not to run into any, like, mini bosses or boss fights that people would have wanted to see, but I did open up an elevator shortcut and this door. But I didn't go in this door because I figured there might be some NPC in here, so figured I'd save that for stream. Destruction. Yeah, there's some ... that shows up at the bottom. There's gotta be someone in here, right? I can only assume that they're like disguised
Oh, it was
as
one
a
of the
pot.
pots,
Yeah, like the other guy.
Do you have the lantern thing for your belt?
Fair point.
I'm sorry, Greg. Did I
it's
stop
this guy.
cutting? And you're like, oh no? Why did
Or
you
girl?
stop?
It's one of those omens, whatever they call them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's like a finger reader crone, but a omen person. I'm sure the lore videos will talk about them or something. Why did they go with the name Mesmer? It's so dumb.
So it begins with M.
Yeah, so like a mesmer is someone who uses like magic or illusions or whatever to like mess with someone's mind, like a mentalist or something. But taking a super obscure ass term like that and then throwing it onto some other fantasy thing is just gonna lead to me going like, oh yeah, so this person's like a mesmer in this story, and then someone's gonna be like, oh yeah, I played that DLC. They're like, oh god. The casuals. I need to get chat up. I need to leave you for a second here.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not a villain. I'm a crusader. We're the good guys.
Put my phone. Oh, did I leave my phone upstairs?
Hey, you have your phone over there.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Ooh, this is foreshadowing. Because I know that they added a...
Oh, did you kill her and then she turns into that?
No.
Oh.
This is just like a head left over here. It's foreshadowing one of the bosses that I saw in the trailer.
Gotcha.
I wonder if this woman will have stuff for me later. I'll have to come back and beat her up at some point.
Oh, Gurgi looks great on stream. He is doing his job. Now he just looks like a rug.
He's just rugging out, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so this just leads back out here. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Just popped out of the chat.
Does this do fall damage? Oh no. It's all good. Okay.
Oh, this is the chat. Okay.
Alright, so let me walk over to this next section. I already killed the guy over here, so easy walk over. There's another fountain section over here that I didn't do, because I thought maybe something important happens in these big wide open areas. Can you blame me?
Metroid Prime Remastered. You know what's crazy? I was on a little game show thing, and the question was, what was the most popular game on the GameCube? And I immediately was like, I buzzed in. I was like...
Ah, it's an invasion, of course.
I was
knew
like,
that something of a map in
100%
here.
confident Mario Sunshine. And I was wrong. Then the next person guessed Melee, which I would have thought would be it. I was like, oh man, I should have thought of that. But I was also incorrect. This is based on like Metacritic scores. So I wonder, like, well, that sword has one fucking move list. That is for sure going to be a super annoying PvP weapon.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they created a move set for that sword to be a really annoying PvP weapon, and then they put it on an invader.
Of course they did. That's what they
They
did.
like.
I'm surprised the invader actually talks to me.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. Alright, well, whatever. What happens, guys?
Hey, Helion Risen.
Can't see.
I would have thought the answer to that would have been Melee, but Metroid Prime is cool too. Yeah, Metroid Prime was the. Wow, he just tanked through that. It's kind of fucking badass. I kind of like an enemy tanking through something with like a different animation, so they're getting stunned by it, but it's like a lesser stun or something. So it shows them getting affected by it, so it's not just like as though the enemy is ignoring what you're doing.
Yeah, I got you.
But like they make it clear that it's not enough to like stop them from swinging. Like if they crack their neck or something and then slam you, rather than getting like knocked back. Hey, Quantum Weasel.
Alright, round 2.
Shield bash attacks? No. Trisha just uses it to block like a civilized individual. Man,
It's the best shield, man.
You proc Frostbite super quick.
I think everything here is just vulnerable to it.
Yeah.
I knew that it wouldn't be vulnerable to, like, the holy stuff because of the area, but, I kind of... Jeez, everything is in 2 hits for this DLC. I'm honestly surprised. I thought, like, I would get, like, a second on Wild Swing, and then it would, stun him. But, didn't work that way.
Yeah.
Next time.
Then they're using Blood Flame too,
Of
the
course.
invader. So they're like super optimized for PvP. More than you could possibly be unless you invented a new weapon that would be better for PvP than any existing one. Super long reach, persistent attacks, seems like they stagger pretty decently. It's like exactly what you would want. It's like people look at these like super big swords and then they rule them out as being possible. But
You guys got such like long random attacks. It's hard for me to tell when they're fucking done.
you know. But some of those like dexterity based weapons are equally as improbable. Like a lot of people don't consider that like Link's sword in Legends of Zelda is like kind of impossible to swing because just
Yeah, if I don't get like that fucking parry move, I'm just doing a kill me move basically.
yeah if you just like wind back on the power attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. It's just that the fucking they're not doing an actual attack. They're doing like a combo attack. You know. So it's just like, okay, wait your turn.
Or pokes. Be like me. But yeah, like the Master Sword in Legend of Zelda, it's just like the proportions on it, just like every little part of it is a little too thick. Just like because it has to be more visible for like a third-person game, so it has to be kind of big. And you notice this when you get like mods for different weapons. In like Elder Scrolls games, and you like add in like Nightmare's sword or something, it's way too big for you to see in first person. So it's specifically, and even third person for a lot of these weapons. Like the Smelter Hammer doesn't work really in in Dark Souls 2, but it would in like a fighting game because your profile, right? It's kind of interesting because like in a third-person game, the sword needs to be extra thick, and that's why the Master Sword is big like that. But if you were actually holding that, it would be like way too heavy to move around like with any kind of like amount of menace. Dark Souls, for the most part, though, the swords do look right. Like they are the right proportions, and then sometimes they have an extra big sword, and then you have like some people will do these. Like Schologrum or somebody do these reviews of nice, fucking amazing. That's how we do it. Put him in the trash where he belongs.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
you
like,
ain't nothing against Wild Swings. Crusade Insignia.
Fuck yeah, put it on.
God,
who cares what it does?
I'm sure it's some like holy whatever. Where is it?
Oh, is that a reminder to keep scratching? I'm sorry, Gertie. I will do better.
That wasn't it, though. Was it? Is that it? Ah, there it is.
Oh.
Raises attack power after defeating an enemy.
That sounds trash.
Nah, yeah. I don't need that.
So, like, someone like Schologrum will do a review of Dark Souls swords, and they'll be like, oh, this big sword is terrible, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. But I think the fact that they have reasonable-looking swords does make the bigger swords.
I find it kind of funny that I can just like walk over and knock down all these graves. Fuck your loved ones. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think the fact that they have the regular-sized swords makes the big ridiculous swords feel more like accomplish the effect they're supposed to, which is to be extra impressive. It's because they are breaking rules rather than just there being no rules. It's much more effective to have rules and then break them than to have no rules. Yeah. That said, obviously the attack animations in Dark Souls are complete fucking garbage. Like, just swing your light attack. Does that look like a dangerous person? Someone who would attack you like that? Do you think you would lose in a fight to that guy?
It is a little bit awkward because this is obviously like a two-handed sword that you're swinging one-handed, you know?
Yeah, okay, but even hold it two-handed and swing, it's still like... it's Y and then right bumper.
Thank you for reminding me.
That is still not a dangerous person. Someone who would whiff so hard they would slam their sword into the ground. Not a competent martial artist, if I dare say so myself. My favorite reasonable sword from Dark Souls is the DS2 Greatsword. Yeah, I mean, it's super big in Dark Souls 2, too. Like, it's extra tall, it feels like, compared to certainly the first game. And the third game, I'd say. But,
That's what you get for sitting around and doing nothing.
And then the thing people always say is, like, well, for PvP, you need the weapon attacks to be, like, really broadcasted. But in exchange for PvP, we've decided to make, like, almost all of the weapon attacks...
Shriek of Sorrow. Interesting.
Oh. Yeah, we've decided to make all the weapon attacks
look...
Yeah, it can't be better than Wild Swings. Yeah, but anyway, in exchange for PvP, like, functionality, we've decided to make all weapon attacks look terrible. And so I find it very difficult to be immersed and, like, kind of RP and think that I'm a warrior in these games. It always feels like a mage makes more sense, even though the game is mechanically disadvantaged towards a mage. So, like, the characters that I always gravitate towards are, like, slightly ridiculous. Like, a caveman makes a lot of sense because you are, like, completely uneducated in how swords are used, like, just by how your character always acts. And then, like, a mage wouldn't know how to use a weapon, and so all the animations look right for a mage, because he's, like, just kind of desperately swinging it. And then Sir Flex was, like, my character for Dark Souls 3, where he's just, like, a shirtless, jacked dude with a giant sword. And I was like, yeah, some himbo wandering around the apocalypse. Sure. Makes sense. Makes more sense than a knight, like, fighting like that. At least from, like, my perspective.
Sure.
But, But yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see your text before. My voice was kind of low.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I guess if people are interested in that, Adam did or briefly before, he was on a stream with Von Coleman.
Yeah. Trisha was busy hacking up orders while we were...
You gotta be responsible.
Although I think I accurately like I think I accurately
Ooh, ladder goes down there.
represented you well.
Oh yeah.
I was basically quiet the entire time, didn't say anything, which is it was hard to like enter in on the conversation. I felt like I didn't have the tools.
You weren't cool enough.
Yeah.
Alright. I gotta say, like, after adding the fan to the PC, all the dust we kicked up did actually manage to make my throat quite dry.
I'm sorry. Do you want this water?
No, it's
There's
alright.
there's a little
I mean,
here.
like... Oh. That does not look like good water.
No.
Not
Oh,
that
it's
good.
fine water. I would have thought that was like an NPC. But you're in like full crusade mode. So yeah, our filter broke, and so water has become
Oh
very
my God.
scarce.
It won't let me attack unless I press Y to that?
That's incredible.
That wasn't a thing. That would go away normally. What happened?
No. I forgot about that. But like when you get an item.
It doesn't. Well, I mean, like when I get an item, sure, but not when I use a key. Is that a new thing?
No. It's not a new thing. That fucking made me really mad a bunch of times.
No, doesn't it go away on its own?
No.
You have to press Y. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The Y prompt doesn't even show up.
Yeah.
How would you know that you're supposed to press Y?
I know this because it's happened a million times, but it happened a million times when I first played the game, because it would happen with like tutorial messages, and like the first time you pick up a new item, that would pop up.
Yes.
But then also when you're making a new character and you're using like cheat engine to just add in all the like items or whatever, because you want to like do some kind of particular challenge run or something, those indicators, those have to be closed or you can't attack. And I've had so many of those pop up and had to close them all.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Of all the patches that they've done to Elden Ring, why don't they fix that?
I don't know. They're too busy balancing PvP.
Yeah, for all the shitty invader players.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like it was. Normally I'm pretty good like socially. I feel like I can like mesh in a conversation, but man, I don't know. Lately, I just been feeling like I'm like socially retarded. Like at the con, I feel like I was like really off my game, and then.
So I opened this door while I was playing off stream. So I guess that's the shortcut to another area. So I might as well rest here.
Yeah, last couple times I've been like meeting new people or like having conversations. I just feel like I'm like, well, no, when we were hanging out with John and his girlfriend, it was I felt like I was doing fine in a conversation. Like I was like, my brain was all keyed into talking and things.
Well, we know them really well.
Yeah.
You know? It's always going to be easier with friends.
I used to be better at pretending not to be shy though. You know? And I feel like I've gotten too genuine. I've
made you too genuine over the years.
I've started to act more honestly, which is super shy and awkward. And It's not good. I have to pretend to be confident and like sociable, and I'm not.
Yeah, same.
Next area in the DLC, the sewers of France. Oh, good. So like the whatever that game was with the rats and stuff.
Yeah, I'll go back to the area later. It just doesn't look like it'll be that fun of a time. So, you know, let's do the fun parts first, huh?
Scorpion liver. Would you eat scorpion liver? I wouldn't eat a single part of a scorpion. That's disgusting. It's a bug. Gross.
Here, what can I craft with scorpion liver?
Poison?
Apparently nothing.
Poison or something. Is it consumable? I can relate. Sometimes my social battery just goes dead mid-outing and it's awkward as fuck. Yeah, no, at the convention, it was like, I don't know, I was like so drained. I was like, I started off the day like real like popping off. I was like, hey you've got a beard, I've got a beard, let's be best friends. And then they come over and then I try to sell them on the book or whatever. It's hard. Sometimes people are just super autistic and like awkward, and then you're just like, man, this was a total fucking disaster.
Oh, fuck. There's two of them.
Yeah.
But the other one didn't show up until I was already hitting the first one.
You know what? I think that is the most appropriate and acceptable ambush that there's ever been in Dark Souls. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because that's called a pincer maneuver.
I get it. Yeah.
I'll take it.
I'll take that.
I feel like we both should have seen it coming, and neither of us did. I didn't think you were gonna get attacked from the other side, but
yeah.
that's how a pincer maneuver works.
No,
so.
I mean like it's not the first time that's happened in this DLC. I think it's gonna be their thing is that they're just gonna keep doing that. But you know.
But yeah, I mean like, and so the con. I was like, I don't know, I feel like I was like kind of selling or whatever.
I guess it's supposed to be the mommy and daddy scorpion.
Yeah.
It's good that they keep a nuclear family.
Yeah, but they let their kids play where the Crusaders can get to them.
Irresponsible.
They die really sparkly.
Yeah, they do.
More than normal enemies. There's something... Gotta check the lore video.
Yeah, they're extra special. Okay, there he is.
No,
but, are you too big?
But then
Oh, you're not though.
But then after the fair, one of the like people was like, "Oh, let's get like."
Oh, that must be the mommy. Low health.
Sexism. Yeah, one of the guys at the convention was like, "Oh, let's get like dinner or whatever." It's like, "Yeah, sure," and we've got to have like gotta make connections and stuff and like talk and be sociable and whatever. And I was just like, man, I'm like not being sharp enough. Like I could just feel that like my social battery was like not running at like full capacity. It's so draining having to like do one of those cons.
Yeah. Rejection is always hard, and you're gonna get a lot of that when you're trying to sell to people. More
than rejection, like rejection is totally fine if someone's like, "Oh, that sounds cool. Like you keep doing you, but I don't."
Not for me.
I don't. I'm illiterate, and then they leave. I'm illiterate. I'm actually entirely blind.
Yeah, I can't even see your comic. I don't know what you look like.
Yeah. Like that's fine. It's the people that are super awkward and just stare and then they mumble and leave. It's like
me.
Like when someone's like not mentally all there and then you have to talk to them, it is so draining. I
gotcha.
Like people with different like mental disabilities, like having to talk to them and then just having them like stand there and like stare at you and like trying to communicate with someone who's not playing with a full deck. It's very draining because it's a lot to adjust to. You're trying to adapt to a whole new, like it's kind of like playing a whole new video game with a whole control scheme you've never used. It's like opening up QWOP for the first time every time you talk to someone like that. And then afterwards, you're kind of a little fried, right? After you like try to play like QWOP. Imagine that with like every single person, because they've got some kind. They're looking at you weird. They have some weird mental thing going on. You don't understand. You don't know what their deal is, and then they'll ask you some like bizarre question, and then you're like, oh, okay.
Into the ceiling you go. All right. Not a fan of birds.
Like one kid was like, he was wandering around and he had his like hand up by his face kind of thing, so maybe like autism. And then he goes to the guy next to us, like calls him over to his table and he's like, hey kid, you like comics? Or he's like, how old are you? And he's like, I'm 12. And then he's like, oh, I can't sell you my comic then, it's only for 17 plus. And then he's like, what about this one? And then he's like, no, that one's only for 16 plus. I was like, why do you even have the differentiation? Like, what's going on? And then he was like, 85% of it is violence. And then the kid's like, oh yeah? What about that 15%? He's like, that's for profanity and nudity. And then he's like, oh, can I buy it? And then he's like, no. And then he wanders away. And then wanders back and he's like, can I buy it? And then he's like, no kid, I remember you. You just walked like 10 feet away. And then he's like, hey sir, you got a comic for this kid? Kid walks over, and then I'm like, yeah, I guess this Horizon Quest is fine for like middle school or whatever. And he's like, and then he just like
the shiny pot.
He just like reaches out and just touches like he just like touches the cover with his like finger and like just, he just like moves his hand over like Astrid's boobs, and then he goes, is there nudity? And I'm like, no. And then and I like and then like I was like, it's a classic adventuring, you know, like I start doing the thing, and he just like wanders away without like saying bye or like anything, just like, no nudity, I'm out of here. No words, like just wordlessly wandering away. And it takes more juice to deal with someone like that who's like not totally hooked up. I'd go full naked snake and eat a scorpion, snake, alligator, and spider all in one sitting. I would have snake. Snake looks really good. I've seen Bear Grylls cook snake, and I'm like, that actually looks. When you like cooked right by Bear Grylls, it looks very tasty.
Yeah, snake oil is good for you, right?
Snake oil is actually really good for you. You know, omega-3s is snake oil. Like the reason that snake oil was healthy was because of omega-3s. The thing that made snake oil unhealthy was when they stopped putting any omega-3 in it, any actual snake oil, and then they just put in seed oils. It's just seed oil, heroin, coke.
What a combination!
They put like opiate, cocaine, I think nicotine and alcohol. Like the worst. The literal snake oil is like the most unhealthy. Like people use snake oil to represent things that are supposed to be healthy for you, but do nothing. Real snake oil that was sold would have like fucked up your entire life, gotten you addicted to everything in the world. Like you can't even get enough drugs to fix all of those addictions. You need the snake oil. Like there's no department store that will sell you heroin, cocaine, like alcohol, everything in one.
And that's how the FDA was created.
Yeah, but actual snake oil, like the first version of it, it was actual snake oil, so it was omega-3s, same as fish oil, and then it was mixed with capsaicin, so like cayenne pepper. So it was like cayenne pepper left in a bottle of snake oil, and that actually is very good for you. Capsaicin has like spicy food has a lot of positive effects for you. It's like part of the reason that like Italy has sees a lot of like long life and stuff. Like actual Italy is got a lot of olive oil, which has a lot of good effects for you. A lot of fish, and they also are big fans of red pepper. Although it's not something that like they don't have like spicy eating contests in Italy, but like the oil they leave on the table most places that I went to when I was on vacation there in like the big cities, it was olive oil and then like red olive oil, and the red olive oil just had cayenne peppers just like soaking in it, and it was super fucking spicy. It was like a lot to handle, and it's oil, so it's like coating your tongue and staying there. So
yeah.
But yeah, so we've got to get a new water filter, and
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've been looking at water filters, and there's like some water filter that's like $400 called the Big Berkey, and it's the one that everyone has like recommended forever, and then there's one that's half the price that everyone seems to recommend more, and everyone's like, oh, actually the Big Berkey was bad at all of these things over enough time. And I'm thinking like...
It's just one of those cases where the name sells it, and not the quality.
But I'm thinking maybe it's just because the Big Berkey has been around longer, there's more people that can give bad reviews of it, whereas this new thing like is the same thing.
Yeah, they just like assume that it's better.
Yeah, but it's half the price, and so I'm thinking like, yeah, it's probably fine. The issue is that the Berkey filter doesn't deal with bacteria at all. So it's only for filtering tap water, which is all we need because we have tap water.
Of course, yeah.
But they have a ton of like sponsored videos promoting this other thing. What is it, like Water Drop King or something? It has like a minimal plastic parts, which is nice because, you know, I want to have less microplastics in me. Next time you hear the term snake oil salesman, correct yourself, seed oil salesman. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Dude, imagine something like actual snake oil is like, or not actual snake oil, but like the snake oil that they sold is like so fucking. They also, I thought it was crazy. They also had like fucking seed oils because it was. I know it wasn't olive oil. It was something else. So I might be making up that it was seed oil, but I remember like listening to this video on it. And coming away thinking it might have been... I think it was cottonseed oil, but I also don't know if I'm totally correct about that. So, don't quote me on that, but it would be fucking amazing if that was... they were actually making the most unhealthy substance possible. By also incorporating seed oils. Because if it was at least olive oil, the meth and coke would be somewhat offset by the... health effects of olive oil. Wow, they're just redoing the DLC from Dark Souls 3. They've got the bug people in the basement with the red water.
Does look familiar, huh?
Yeah. That was my least favorite feature about that DLC. I like the snow, but yeah. So how's chat doing? I haven't caught any of your streams recently, Mr. Helion Arisen. Have you been streaming or have you been busy? I just haven't been opening up Rumble too much. I did like last night. Hey, Basil has arrived. And so did the Reaper box set. I love the design of the Burning Star box. Isn't it cool? I was so impressed when Trisha opened up the shipment.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
It's a little more official, huh?
Yeah, right? And now those boxes can be used for like 3D prints and stuff. So
yes, for more stuff that we saw on the website.
And speaking of 3D prints, we did pretty well at the con that we went to. Yeah, I mean, what do I do with my phone?
And a lot of these like new villain or enemy designs, that's what I'm looking for, they are not doing so well as far as like touching the ground. or a roof for, the rubble. They're just very clearly going through, like, the roof.
Oh, a lot of clipping?
Falling. Yeah, a lot of clipping.
I'd rather clipping than enemies that don't touch the ground. Like they're just a tiny inch off the ground. That takes me out of it way more, because you're kind of used to seeing that in real life when like someone's standing on grass. You don't see all the totality of their shoe.
The roof.
No, it's not correct, right?
Yeah, okay.
But something in my brain, it doesn't. I don't like seeing the clipping, but it takes me out of it less than when they're just slightly off the ground. I notice it way more. I wanted to start this DLC, but here I am making an index character from scratch for some reason. Take your time. It'll be there when you're done.
Yeah, and maybe they'll like fix some things.
Are you getting the magic katana that shoots like the moon slash? Oh, Helion Arisen says, here and there, I try to stream after work, but sometimes I don't feel like it. Slowly getting closer to 1,000 followers. Woo! And then we get to see Helion Arisen's face. He's gonna get a face cam, and he's been hyping us up, saying how ugly he is. And
hyping you up.
I gotta say, he's probably just a doomer about his own face.
That sounds about right.
I think most people are. He's gonna be like the girl from Ready Player One, where she's like, I'm hideous, because she has a purple splotch on her face.
Calculated.
Man, they're really pulling out all the old concepts from their other DLCs. They've got the.
Man, that still hit me.
I'm so proud of you. Once upon a time, you would have just hit him, even though you were gonna do a double and hit each other. That last one, or like that shows real.
I try.
Yeah, that shows real progression of character.
Dannphan's epic character arc.
Helion Arisen protests, saying, "It's true, I am an ugly son of a bitch." Hey, listen. Did you ever play The Witcher, like The Witcher 1? There was a really interesting character in that game. It was a random NPC prostitute, and she goes, you want to fuck, you ugly motherfucker, or something like that? And he was like, excuse me? And then the girl's like, is like, don't take it as an insult. Girls like to... like a guy to be a little ugly. Or girls like to... She was, like, very, very vulgar. She kept on cursing and stuff. And, like, she didn't say, like, making love. She used some kind of term like fuck or something like that. Something that's, like, meant to be... Or sod or something like that. And the character is, like, impressing upon Geralt, right? That in order for a guy to be attractive, they have to be somewhat ugly. And that's what, or at least that's what girls want to fuck. And it's like, and she's like, love's got nothing to do with it, marriage has got nothing to do with it.
What's love?
Who they want to fuck is ugly
Jesus
guys.
Christ, why this character's moveset is weird.
Yeah. Super wild. They should have played special music and stuff. It looks like a demon that came straight out of India from your fake scammer website. There's apparently BurningstarComics.com is a website that like Chrome warns you against with a big red screen. And if you go past it, it's like an Indian casino website.
It's so unfortunate. Really.
I was on a stream earlier, and they're like, "Oh, what should we plug?" Or I was like, "Oh, Burning Star Comics." I was like BurningstarComics.net, and then he went to Burning Star.
Yeah, he's so random that he's just flying like in such a weird.
You got
type
back
of
there
flying.
like instantaneous. Steak America got it.
That's what it's there for.
Really interesting though. fighting him on the stairs is weird. I really liked how the dancer was like particularly made to be eerie and have weird timings.
Yeah, I actually really liked the dancer boss fight.
I hated it. This is like my least favorite. That's the hardest boss fight in Dark Souls for me.
Oh, didn't you have trouble with Sister Freedy?
She was hard, but she's really cool.
Yeah,
And it's not like you can't see yourself making any progress. The dancer just does a shit ton of damage and has a crazy weird moveset. I kind of prefer a boss that kind of like the dancer. Like I kind of prefer the challenge of them being super weird and hard to avoid their hits. I kind of like that, but when they pair it,
and then you get the weapon.
oh, cool. Yeah, when you pair it with a lot of damage, it becomes very boring. It's like, okay, well, this enemy does a shit ton of damage and has a shit ton of health, and this enemy, they all just have tons of damage and tons of health. Whereas if you had some enemies that didn't do a lot of damage, but they were really hard to avoid, it would just feel much more varied. Whereas, like, I feel like most Dark Souls games, most FromSoft games, are just world packed to the brim with incredibly strong retards. Like, they're just... That's really, like, what you end up encountering, because everything does an immense amount of damage, more than it should, no matter what the thing looks like or anything. It just always does tons of damage. Like, they're so insecure with their design that they can't have enemies that don't do a shit ton of damage. And even when there is an enemy that doesn't do a shit ton of damage, they'll show up later and do a shit ton of damage. Like the random hobos, like the, you go through the asylum in Dark Souls 1, and you come back, and then they do a shit ton of damage, like more than anything could ever do, just like a ridiculous...
Freya? Yeah, sure, why not?
Why do they have to keep on, like, dragging Freya's name through the mud? They put it on a spider, now they put it on some weird dude.
No, I think it's a girl. I think she just has, like, a mask on.
She's got hideous armor, looks like a man. Oh, is that just, like, every posture is the same now? So she just looks like a hideous monster? Giving her a curved sword so she seems like some weird, like, Indian Power Ranger villain. Hey, Aura Honeydew. Yep. Welcome.
Alright. So, like I mentioned before, the head, it was foreshadowing this boss fight,
cool.
I believe. I think it was this boss fight.
See, if I don't move my hand for a little while, and then I curl my fingers, they all pop. But that guy, nothing.
Yeah. So this is obviously more Asian inspired. They're going for, like, the dancing dragon, but instead it's a dancing lion.
Okay. They should have gone for more Celtic-inspired stuff.
Of course.
This is kind of stupid.
It feels like it belongs in, what was the other From Software samurai one that they did?
Sekiro?
Yeah, it feels like it belongs there.
Yeah, not gonna lie, like, the Celtic-inspired stuff was... I mean, I don't know. This seems like very India, very China... this whole DLC, but I don't really have, like, much of an interest in that stuff.
Oh my god, that actually hit me?
Oh, what hit you?
I don't know. I guess because it's going all around, I'm not actually blocking it, but it doesn't show me getting hit or anything. I don't, like, move,
I'll have to watch your health bar more closely to tell you what hits and doesn't.
Yeah, right.
Because you were at, like, no health. How'd you even know you got hit?
I looked at my health.
Okay, so I saw that hit you. So.
Everything does 2 hits.
So this is very, like, the glowing eyes and stuff make this look kind of spooky, I guess. But this just feels like a shitty theater prop. Like, I don't know. Like, I understand that it exists, and like where the hitbox is, I guess, but like it doesn't. Like when it slams over to you, like what?
Yeah, I don't.
What is
really...
it touching you with? Like, is there some thing it does that merits? Oh, it has horns. Okay, but it's, I don't know. It just feels like everything in Dark Souls will move sharply towards you, and then if you collide with its general body area, you take damage. But I kind of want to feel like there's something threatening they're holding, or like, or they're some part of their body that's like when you see a dragon's claw, you're like, yeah, that's dangerous, or a dragon's tail, you're like, oh, that's dangerous. But that just is kind of a dancing, like, parade prop.
It feels like they're having fun with the idea of the floaty movements making a fight harder. Because first it was the other guy, and now it's this, you know.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm not the biggest fan, but...
At least there's no run back. Thank God.
That's true.
God damn, I hate those fucking torch wielding undead guys in the Asylum when you go back in DS1. They just run at you and do so much damage. They can be blocked with anything.
Oh my god. That was still an attack? I thought it was done, but then my health bar just went all the way down.
Now, here's a question. Is he permanently in Phase 2? Because he didn't have the breath attack when you started the fight.
I never got him in Phase 2.
No, but, like, is he permanently in this phase where he has that breath attack now?
That's where he starts.
Oh, okay. Because I didn't see him...
I never got him in Phase 2.
No, because I never saw him use that at the start. It would be an interesting boss if they would stay in the phases you knock them to, even if their health goes back up. Okay, so he does just... I don't know.
Yeah, this boss was not made for shield.
He was made for a play. I don't know, like, it'd be...
Because, like, all his attacks just go around the shield.
Yeah.
And then there's that.
That's like fair play, I guess. I don't know. The tail, like, could be dangerous. I don't know. It's quite a spectacle, this boss, but it's like, I like to kind of be immersed in like, think that the enemy, like, imagine myself fighting the enemy and, like, kind of feel like they're dangerous. But I just see, like, hitboxes, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really see I don't really see this as being, like, a real thing that you would encounter.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you still have equipped the lances?
What? I guess I do.
Huh.
I'm a big boy, as it turns out. Yeah.
So you could probably swap out some of your armor for more heavier armor, and take off the crossbow and the lance.
Well, that's true.
Gotta be something
I think originally I was using blades.
Yeah. And the black knife gloves are super light, so you could definitely get something better than that.
Actually, I was gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay.
But if you want to give this boss a shot or anything, you can certainly do that.
This doesn't look fun at all.
Okay.
I
didn't make it look very fun, I assume.
No, this is like some trailer bait trash. Like this is something you put in the trailer to look cool that doesn't look fun to play with at all. But you know, I think I'd much rather enjoy it from here watching than actually having to interact with that, like, swooshy thing. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of the dancing dragon thing, like that aesthetic. It's like very lively, but I've never really been fascinated by it. Part of it is like it's interesting because I like Celtic mythology and, like, that sort of aesthetic better, but kind of whenever Dark Souls touches any kind of thing, they make it, like, depressing and cynical. So, like, they have the dancing midsummer people in and happy midsummer, everyone, by the way, because it is the summer solstice, or was a day or two ago. So I think like Sweden celebrates like a day or so after. Yeah, they had the dancing midsummer people in Elden Ring, and they were very they were all like demons and evil and stuff, and I find that so gross because like there's so few representations of like Midsummer out there, and then when some like loser like Muslim guy makes a horror movie based on it to just be like anti-European culture, it's a huge bummer. And then like obviously Dark Souls, like the FromSoft, I don't think they have any kind of like malicious intent by using it, but because they just make everything edgy and dark. But it's kind of a bummer that you don't get a lot of opportunities to see it, and then when you do see it, it seems like the two examples I've seen lately have just been very very negative, like showing it as this like scary, horrible thing, where really it's like the equivalent of Christmas for loads of different like European countries. So in the same vein, when Elden Ring was all Celtic mythology, they're showing stuff like Godric the Grafted. He is like the sort of tainted remnant of like a cool Celtic hero figure, and then when you fight him, he's like all grafted and gross and fucked up. And so you're kind of, most of what you're fighting is like stuff that you think is cool and like. Whereas here, everything is like Indian and Chinese, and I never cared about either. Like in terms of like mythology and stuff. So killing it, I wouldn't feel like I'm destroying something like super precious and cool. But at the same time, yeah, fire pellet gloves are super sick. Those are the coolest gloves by far. Look at those like.
They are pretty cool, aren't they?
What about your legs?
If there's... I thought I already had pretty good legs on, but I don't know.
Nah, Black Knight legs are super light.
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
What did I have on before? There's always blades.
The lower down stuff is heavier. Oh, Godric's? Well, just put on that and then compare stuff.
Well, that'll be gold against silver, though.
Oh, okay.
Big fashion. No.
I didn't realize. My mistake.
It's always very Lucaria.
So it's like kind of weird because like there's certain enemies that are super cool, and then you don't want to kill them because they're super cool, and then certain enemies that are super cool and you want to kill them. Like my favorite example is a Minotaur. They're super cool and they're meant to be destroyed. They're meant to be like slain. Like they're like the and demons too are like, they're cool looking and they're for killing. Same thing with dragons. Like I never think like, oh, I wish I had a pet dragon. It's like no. Dragons are for slaying. You slay the dragon.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of people who are like, I wish I had a pet dragon.
Yeah. But like a good dragon slaying is fucking sick.
No, yeah, totally.
I'm sure some people don't like killing like wolves or bears or something like that. Things that like exist that you could see out your window. Sometimes people have a harder time with.
Oh, come on. Opening up with the breath. Shameful.
Awesome stream, Adam Trisha, but I'm gonna head out. Wanna get a short stream in before bed. Peace. Enjoy your stream. If you're still streaming when we end, I'll like raid you on Rumble with and all my bots can go watch you. Thoughts on the new Superman suit? It's retarded and gay. I haven't seen it, but I assume it is both retarded and gay. And I'm 100% confident in my take. Actually, I don't think I need to see it. I think I know without ever seeing it. It's retarded and gay. Oh, anyway, I forgot to respond to Basil. Basil was saying he's gonna use either the laser katana that like shoots the Iron Reaper Soul Stealer of Magic, and then or the Wing of Estelle. And I hate the bug wing aesthetic of the Wing of Estelle, but if you can stomach using that like bug wing gross thing, dual wield them for sure. Yes, I know you have to do 2 playthroughs or something to get a second one.
Oh, here we go.
That was cool. Slow down the whole fucking game.
Yep.
Doesn't really make sense though.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect lightning from this guy.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
I was kind of digging the smoke thing you were shooting out. That like seemed like it fit. I felt like that was contrary to my point earlier, where the attacks didn't really seem like attacks. That smoke thing was like, oh, what is that dust? That could be dangerous. I believe that's dangerous. Obviously, lightning you believe is dangerous, but it's kind of weird that he
went into phase 2 pretty early too.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very hard boss for a lot of people.
Yeah. I think that was the intention.
I kind of like the tornado stuff with this guy since he's so swishy. The lightning stuff feels very like we added a random thing because it would look cool. I kind of dig that, where he's like snapping at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was cool. The snapping is cool.
Oh, now ice too?
Yeah, I was about to say, if he just goes through all the elements, then that'll probably make more sense than just lightning. Because it seems like something you would do, right? If you had like practical effects for like a play, you just run through.
I didn't even get him halfway down. Why does he have so many moves? My goodness.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Matthew Atkinson.
I wonder if, ironically, he would do better. With like actual holy damage for once.
Give it a shot, maybe.
Or, well.
You could just take
your. Also, like go full bleed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you could. Well, you could go. Yeah, because you haven't procced frostbite, so probably you can't proc frostbite. So,
my assumption.
so just go to the bonfire and swap off your Ash of War's like wet blade or whatever it is. Because you could just use the same Ash of War and then just change the attunement of it to like bleed or something like that.
That's true.
So you could still go for
What
wild.
was Wild Swings again?
Yeah, it's right where it was.
Oh.
It was already equipped.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And you just hit, and then you could just pick something else. Bleed is like an okay. Bleed is an okay idea, but you might not proc bleed. So why don't you select it again, select that, and then just like see what heavy is for like damage. Just like compare the damage numbers. Like, if you're never gonna proc bleed, it probably makes sense to give yourself 150 more damage. You know what I mean? Does this go up again? Sorry. Oh no, it's on the left. Okay, so that would be, instead of 268, it would be 293. I wish they would just tell you what the
I
damage.
know, instead of making you do math.
Yeah, because I think like Dark Souls 3 they added up for you, but in like every other game they don't. I thought it would just become a standard feature, but
yeah, you would think, right?
yeah. So like 35 and like 130. Yeah. So it's like 160 more damage if you just put it on heavy, and if you're never gonna proc bleed, that's worth.
There's also poison, I guess.
You could do sacred too. See what the damage difference is there. If you think you're gonna proc poison,
I have no idea.
yeah, I don't know. It seems
I
like
don't know if I can hit him that many times.
Yeah, I kind of don't think you can. I kind of think you get these like rare hits in, and in that case, heavy makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Although getting a poison on and then being able to just chill out.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Why don't you could do heavy and then put I don't know. You could put a thing on your sword. Yeah. I would recommend the Knight's Greatsword, in my opinion. Longest greatsword in the game and great strength scaling. Oh, is that new in the DLC? And there was a question, is the stream going okay so far? And I would say yes, because the computer is not shut off.
It's a big difference, yeah.
I gotta work on being more like socially skilled. I've just noticed lately I've been like interacting with people and been very awkward, and I feel like I shouldn't be.
Mesmer fire grease. So this is even heavier fire damage, I guess. Alright.
It's a base game sword. Oh, Knight's Greatsword. Oh yeah, okay. I think I remember that. Kind of.
You do poison on the sword.
What if guy was asleep when you entered the boss fight? Maybe you can put him asleep easily.
That would be pretty funny, huh? Rotten's obviously the best, but that's limited, right? Like, you can't make this anymore.
Well, once we start playing, like, in co-op or whatever, I'm gonna drop whatever the fuck you want. So...
Yeah, I mean...
There's also... the cheat table for Elden Ring has a button that just adds 999 of all consumables.
Mm.
So you can just click that and not have to worry about farming for stupid shit that you just don't care about farming for.
True enough.
And there's no reason you shouldn't be able to farm Scarlet Rot stuff. It's just like literally losers playing PvP are like
complaining.
It's not fair. And it's like, well, just don't have PvP because you make the game worse with every change you make to accommodate it. If you want to have a shitty versus mode like Donkey Kong 64, do it. I think the versus in Donkey Kong 64 is the model that everyone should model their versus mode after. Stop trying to get $1 billion a month like PvP microtransaction shit show where you shoot each other with trans pride flag bullets. Just like make a garbage PvP, and if it's not fun, then your friends suck. That's it. Like, if you can't have fun playing multiplayer because it's not balanced, sounds like you shouldn't play with Timmy anymore. That's it. There's no, like, none of this balancing...
Wow, one hit did it, huh?
Yeah, he kind of starts off that dust shot.
He didn't always. It's just, like, the 2 times I decided to spirit summon, he started off with it. I guess maybe he knows.
Balance can be overrated in PvP sometimes. A fair assessment. Oh, hey, Gabe. Welcome. My stream is behind, apparently. Sorry if my comments were out of place. They're not out of place. Sometimes I just see comments, and then it takes me a while before I can, like, get to them.
No, stop it.
And I also read comments out of
No,
order.
no. God, I'm so sick of the one-shots. Jesus.
That was a grab, I guess?
Yeah, it was grab.
So I kind of, since they have the horns, it kind of makes sense that he's just, like, swishing his body into you. But, like, I would appreciate if there was, like, some dead things on the horns, or, like, they just don't seem like they're actually that dangerous.
Well, yeah, it's a mask.
Like, the horns are the mask?
The whole thing is a mask.
Oh, because you found the severed head, you thinking that?
It's a mask. It is a mask. Like, you can see it up close, and it's just a guy moving a mask around.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. There are 2 people under the trench coat.
Oh. Why is he so strong?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
Now it makes even less sense.
It's not a real dragon or anything. It's just, like, 2 people fucking around.
So I like the dust breath, even though it's kind of like very PS2, you know, because it's like the SFX is just like loading over and over again instead of being a real stream. They're just like spawning like dust stream, dust stream, dust stream, dust stream. Very old school kind of. Wow, that's it? That's all it took? He's Scarlet Rotted?
He's rotted.
Did you hit him twice?
No, I hit him a bunch of times. He was just kind of, like, scattered.
Okay. But yeah, we after the con, we had dinner with someone that was there. I guess he's a comic writer. I assumed he was an artist, but. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't understand how he got people to like draw his comic for him, or like how he.
He's charming guy, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he's got so much like success so quickly. It on one hand, it's kind of like demoralizing as someone who's like older and has had less success. But at the same time, like just seeing him fucking like go after it, like it's not retarded to do, kind of makes me feel like
fucking one-shot grab. I didn't even realize it was a grab at first. But goddamn, that Scarlet Rot, huh?
Yeah. I almost wish you could interact with grabs more than just mashing to get out, like, because they do this big animation for you like being in the grab. But like if that was like
it's just so annoying because it doesn't look like a grab, and then they just
like,
decide all grabs one-shot you.
Yeah, but like imagine it was like what was that game where they made it all gay and furries and stuff, like real DEI release. What was that called? Is Dragon's Dogma? Yeah, if you had those kind of mechanics, imagine that the guy grabs you and he flings you up right there, and then he re-grabs you. But if he flings you up like that, what if you were able to hit jump and like double jump out of it, and then try to not be in the hitbox or hurt box for the second grab? You could like interact with it or like jump onto his back and then start swinging. Like if there was something you could do, like more aerials and stuff, it wouldn't be such a bullshit move. But it's literally like this thing with a real weird hitbox will just randomly destroy you. I see why they put the Grace right next to the door, because this is super bullshit. Same with the stairs. One thing I'll say with this DLC, as much as it is just like bullshit hobos shanking you, they do have good respawns. There's less retarded runbacks than, for example, the Iron King DLC in Dark Souls 2. That was ridiculous. I will never forgive them for that samurai runback. Those silly bullshit. Doing alright, just playing Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. Cool. It breaks from the musical theme with a lot of those Dark Souls, or the Castlevania ones. Hey Marshalton, hey Gil, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you with us. It's good to be hanging out with such cool cats in chat. And anyway, like I was saying, we went out to dinner with that guy. I was so cooked from the con, I just like felt like I couldn't like get my sentences together in like a proper way, or like really like feed into a conversation and really like give this like kind of feed, like, because when people say stuff, it's good to like kind of give back a sort of like energy to them so that they feel good about like what they're saying and stuff. Because like I'll be interested in what people are saying, but then like if you don't give that energy out, you're not communicating that, and so they're not enjoying saying thing that you're enjoying hearing. So it's like just like a part of like social interactions and stuff. And I don't know, after doing the whole convention, I was so cooked. And I've just been noticing recently, I like have been
I missed my chance.
Kind of.
He was just so fucking in the air all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been noticing I've been kind of just bad at being social recently, and I want to just like force more energy into it so that I can like exist how I want to be. Like I hate being like in my head and thinking of stuff that I should have said 3 seconds ago. I should just do, you know?
Yeah, right.
Just finished playing MechWarrior 5 for the night. Love the game. I've had a friend help me out. MechWarrior is the PvP only game that's like mechs and stuff. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. There's some mech IP. Oh, it's BattleTech. That's the one I'm thinking of. We're going to be going to a convention where we're going to meet the writer for BattleTech that got fired in place of his stalker because his stalker was like trans or something. Blaine Pardo. He's going to be at the same convention as us in a couple months. So I'm going to say like, congrats on kicking ass. Because like, he got fired and then he was like, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I got fired and then I just started making way more money because all these people wanted to snatch me up and like, they were like, yeah, we don't care that you're conservative or that you were stalked by some crazy tranny, so have lots of money. And so he he's financially doing much better, but he was like, he said in like an interview with like Arch Warhammer or whatever, he was like, it is still like, it was kind of it did shake, I was shook from getting, you know, totally fucked over, but,
imagine.
yeah, it freaks me out, right? The idea of like writing for a company and then getting stalked by a tranny who then replaces me simply because they're obsessive enough. But you know, maybe it just goes to show if you're persistent enough, you can do anything. Even replace the object of your obsession. I wish someone who's a fan of the series heard some of the hubbub about his firing. Yeah. His trans stalker replaced him? Yeah. Because they wanted more women.
Oh, god damn it, that was the grab. God, it looks exactly like all the other fucking moves!
It does. They all look the same, which is why...
It's evil.
Yeah, you know what they
it's
should have...
pure, and it grabs you from really far away, too.
You know
so you think that you're, like, safe from whatever bite move that he's doing, but no, it's just a grab that slinkies itself over to you.
You know what they should have done? They should have had him, like...
Why don't I have my sword out? What's going on?
They should have, like... I don't know. Maybe they should have made it, like, covered in liquid metal, so, like, the metal could be spiky and more dangerous.
Maybe they should have just made a different boss.
Or had him covered in fire or something, I don't know. There's just something about it, just, like, when he touches you, it's like, yeah, I understand those are hitboxes because that's an enemy, but I don't understand, like, within the world, what is so dangerous about that?
How is the human bodies underneath the cloak hurting me?
Yeah,
You know?
what gives them so much strength? Like, they don't even show that in the cutscene, they're just like, here's the presentation of what the boss looks like. And, like, they have all this time where they show the arm of the guy, but it doesn't seem strong or anything, it just...
Oh, what the fuck? God, it lasts so long! Why?
That is my favorite attack that he does. That's the only one that I actually think is, like, reasonable.
God, his body is always so far away.
The tail whip one where he, like, snaps at you and then he reels back and then tails whip you, that's, like, the most fair, right? Like, you can, like, read that and understand it, but, like, why does it do so much damage? It shouldn't. Like, it's just, like, I feel like every single attack in Dark Souls does the same amount of damage, which is half your health. Which is, no, 75% of your health. Like, every attack does 75% of your health. And it's like, I want someone to make a case for me, like, why is a hobo swinging a rusty hatchet at me the same damage as a dragon clawing me, the same damage as a parade float slapping into me? Like, this is very beautifully animated and stuff, and they obviously put in a lot of work on this, but...
Of course.
This is more a spectacle than, like, a...
What the fuck is this phase? Jesus.
Yeah. I wonder if they timed it to, like, a particular song or something like that. Because it does seem to have a certain rhythm that's, like, separate from the music.
Brutal.
It's good to hear the support was stable. Sometimes people just get support initially and falls off pretty quickly, so you never know. Well, he wasn't getting support from financial support from fans exactly. He just got a bunch of book deals, and he was talking about all the books that he was going to be writing and all these contracts and whatever. So it seemed like he had a very stable, and he's also like older, so he's not that far away from like retirement and stuff. So I think he said in the interview, like, if it did like ruin him, he could have retired. But he's got a daughter, and his daughter is a writer, and now he works on books with his daughter. So that's super cool. I would never want to work on, like, writing. Well, I guess I do. I guess I worked with Trisha, and it wasn't terrible, but the idea of it still sounds like a nightmare, trying to, like, write something with someone else. But I guess I am pretty good at, like, being okay with, like, stuff. But the stuff being changed based on, like, Trisha's tastes and stuff. Like, what she thinks will work visually and stuff. So I feel like I could be totally fine with writing with someone else. Still, whenever someone else does it, I'm always like, oh, I could never do that, but I have. Because like there was a guy, what's his name, Boris Vallejo. He does all these like Conan-esque, not or like Frazetta-esque, I guess. He's like the living Frazetta, right? Like he's the new king of that art style, and not new. I mean, Frazetta's been dead for like a gazillion years, but he posts on Instagram with like a relatively small following for how famous he is, and he posts with his wife. Like they post a picture. His wife is like back to back with him, and they're both painting on canvases. And they say the music that they listen to, like some classical music, and they just like paint together like that, and that's just how they spend their days. And then they'll swap canvases, and he'll touch up some of her work, and she'll touch up some of his work, because like they can see stuff that each other are missing and whatever. And I just think that's like the cutest, most like wholesome thing ever. And I was like, dude, life goals. Thanks for sharing. I hope to be so successful one day that I can have a similar kind of situation. And he was so like Boris Vallejo himself like responded like, oh, that's thank you. I'll like tell my wife, she'll be happy to hear that, or something like that. Like he had some kind of like wholesome response to it, and I was like, oh, it's just But anyway,
sometimes it hits me, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
it's just fucking bullshit.
It's like a bunch of lasers. It's a series of laser shots. So sometimes you can move out, but then sometimes they spawn a new laser.
I hate that.
Anyway, the reason I bring that up is he's able to just have his art be inseparable from his wife and be totally okay with that. I wouldn't be able to handle that. You procced bleed, by the way. I think.
Yeah, no, I know.
So you are procking bleed. That's like something to note, I suppose. A friend asked me to write an audio play for his podcast, which I did, but he wanted to make a bunch of changes, and by the end of it, I was about 5 seconds away from murdering him. Yeah. I wrote a song for my friend's band one time, and like, he just wanted to change all the words to like less cool words. Like he wanted to like take out all the he had some very like specific phonetics that he was like wanted to sing. And I kind of like, it's like, well, what's the point of me writing anything? It's like, if you're gonna change so much that it's like
not the same thing anymore. Yeah.
Like I would rather rewrite it to kind of match these criteria. Yeah.
Well, like I hit dodge and it doesn't fucking work.
I know. No, this guy's bullshit. I would hate this.
I do hate this. This is awful.
I'm so glad you bought the DLC ahead of me because
I didn't buy it. It was a gift.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm so glad that I didn't get this DLC because fuck this. This looks terrible to play.
I hope the other bosses are better. Jesus.
A lot of people were talking about this boss, so I don't know.
Fucking weebs who are like, oh my god.
Are there weebs for China? Is that just like CCP agents?
Well, it's just anything Asian, right? I think I did poison him.
I think he did, yeah.
Not as good as Scarlet Rat, of course. But
no, that's not bad.
You work with what you got.
Scarlet Rat at home.
That's an appropriate meme.
I was joking in the so Sergeant Salamander had a poll for so Sergeant Salamander is a friend of mine who does grand campaigns where he takes a country and then plays out like this like 4X strategy game with this like country that he picks, and then he goes from like the ancient Rome game to the next Paradox game in the line. He goes to like Crusader Kings and etc. and he tells the story like a historian, and he puts up like these AI generated images to kind of illustrate what he's talking about. And he let the viewers pick the next season, so he had people in a big chat on his Discord kind of discussing ideas, and then he picked 5 of them and put them up on a poll. And so there was this war between 2 at the end. It was Tokaria and Scythia, or Scythians. Those were the last ones that were like neck and neck at the end. And so Tokarians were the green-eyed generals in like ancient Chinese like history. So the Chinese would hire. They were Aryan, right? They were like red-haired, with hair like fire, beards like fire, and
like the lightning, huh?
they would hire them as generals, and they were so effective it would like turn the tide of any civil war, or any kind of military campaign they were doing, because they were so effective. They would fight in the war, and they'd win the war for them, and then they would go back. Trisha,
Don't. It's just like all of his moves are such a bullshit. I don't even know what to do.
Yeah, I would say like almost 100% of them, because even the startup on that spinning around and shooting smoke or ash or whatever he's doing, even the startup on that is way too quick.
They just decided that everything should do so much health, and they would punish you for not, I don't know, leveling up health to 99?
Yeah, I mean, should you just be level 300 to play this? Like, what's the play? Because, like,
I mean, you can get to the DLC after beating Mog, so...
Because after I played Millennia with you, I'm pretty sure I leveled up my, like, warrior dude to, like, level 300 or something.
I mean, I'm not that low level. I'm 135, you know?
That, I mean, to me, who has made, like, an insane amount of use out of the resurrecting boss mechanic on Cheat Engine to resurrect bosses and kill them over and over again, it does seem quite low to me, because, like, I think all my characters are, like, 200 plus now.
Right, well, you know, when you're beating bosses left and right, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
sure.
Just, like, resurrecting Millennia and trying out a new strategy and killing her and, like, farming bosses and stuff. Yeah, I would say I've gotten my characters to, like, retardo strength, and I think possibly this boss is intended for retardo strength, but I don't know. Maybe there's, like, people out there that are like, oh, you do this at level 0, just, like, you have to read his attacks or something.
No, you just have to get naked and dodge.
Yeah, just two-hand a high damage weapon and dodge.
Get the bonk out.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Weebs are in every country. No, but, like, weebs are specifically for Japan. Like, this is a Chinese-themed boss, so, like, who's a fan of this other than, like, simps for the CCP? The Chinese Communist Party.
He caught me as I was rolling. Did you see that? It's like, as I'm in the roll, I'm, like, moving the other direction.
This, by the way, is how strong China was before communism.
Well, there you go.
Anyway, Tokarians, before I get, like, totally sidetracked, they were a country of, like, white people, like, Aryans, like, in the center of the Asian continent, in the Tarim Basin. And they interacted with China occasionally. They had their own things going on. But China, a lot of, like, the records of them come from China, because China would hire generals out of them just to lead their men, and they were so brilliant, they would turn the tide of wars like crazy. And so China would famously pay exorbitant prices to Tokaria for the use of some of their generals. And so this included, like, sending women, like the emperor. There's some quote from some emperor where he was like, "If only if only our men were of such high quality, or if only we could bear or rear or raise, however he put it, men of such quality, we would not need to trade our sisters and our daughters for them." Which is like, gotta feel good if you're a Tokarian, because you're like, fuck yeah, dude. And they're all they were all gingers. They all had, like, bright red hair, and, like, the women that would go, like the Chinese girls that would go and be, like, added to their harems or whatever. That was another source of contention, because they wouldn't marry them and then have kids with them. They would never have kids with them, because that would have some kind of diplomatic implication. Like, you know, there'd be more control that China would have over them. They didn't do that, and that would annoy them more. But those women, they would write letters about the Tokharians, and we have some of those still. Like those exist in like historical documents and whatever. And they would what? It was just a kill because wind. The wind added more damage, I guess.
I mean, it only takes like a hit, so
yeah. And
whatever they count as a hit. I mean, none of the fucking hits look like hits, you know.
Yeah. And so the Chinese girls that were sent as like to be added to these harems, they would describe the Tokharians, and they're like, they're all so massive, they all tower over me, and their voices are so loud, and their beards, they have full beards that grow down to their navels, and their hair is like fire, and like they have all these like crazy accounts of them or whatever. So that's Tokharians, and then Scythians are blonde-haired Aryan horse archers. And they're well known for being horse archers. They're well known for having all these different techniques on horseback, like turning fully around in the saddle, like standing on the horse, like sitting sideways on the horse, to get better angles depending on like what they're doing. Right? They had all these crazy horse riding techniques, and they were very, very good with their horses. They had very, very high quality horses, very fast horses. They were also they also had way more protein than most of their adversaries because they would drink horse milk, which was mobile, right? Because you could bring the horses that you could milk with you. And so not only were they nomadic, their military forces also were bolstered by having tons of protein on the go without having to, worry too much about rationing and stuff, because you could bring the horses with you, have them graze, then provide you with milk. That would be a super big source of protein, giving you more energy, and also making their men more muscular and stronger, and etc. So anyway, the Scythians are well known for being horse lords, people that are very good with horses. However, Tokharians also had horse archers, and so my meme that I was trying to start in the Discord was, we have horse archers too, they're just as good.
What the fuck? What even is that? What killed me?
Yeah, I think it was the wind underneath him.
That's stupid.
I could be wrong.
I'm fucking... I'm a million feet away from him and I'm rolling. I don't understand. What does it want me to do?
Well, apparently...
What class was this made for?
Apparently what you just did, because you did a lot of damage. You were over halfway, so...
Yeah, I've been over halfway this entire time.
Ha. Marshall knows what killed you. The wind beneath his wings. I heard at least doing something creative with friends can be rough sometimes. I heard at least one is going poorly with a friend. Yeah, I've had actually, now that I think about it, I have had more than one instance that I've gone poorly with a friend myself.
Oh man, it still gets you even when you're right next to him, though. It's one of those moves where it looks like you'd be safe right next to him, but that is not the case.
For what I understand, the DLC doesn't care about the level you're at from the base game. There's a separate system. I think the minions that system applies to, like the shadow upgrade thing, like you're collecting stuff to level up. But that's an interesting point, I suppose. Maybe this is more based on how many collectibles you find than like how high level you get. I've had my bong out this entire time, so no questions for Gil. He's baked, completely baked. Agreed. I personally try not to blur the people in the government. Agreed. I personally try not to blur the people in the government all the time. Yeah. I think like I'm mostly joking, the CCP thing, because I think the Chinese Communist Party.
What the fuck? That hit me? I thought he dodged it. God.
The Chinese Communist Party's relationship with Chinese history is kind of more complicated than I just don't understand it exactly, because they do create like a government sponsored like soap opera based on Chinese history to kind of like promote nationalism, and then they also promote kung fu as being real in order to promote nationalism. But other parts of their history they kind of see conflict with, and like Shen Yun is like a play that's everywhere, advertised all over the place in the United States. That's run by an anti-CCP religious organization that was genocided in China. So, and they do Chinese history, and they advertise it as China before communism. And it's very, and they don't like that play, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Then they rebranded. They rebranded claiming that they were no longer communist. And so everything's fine. And to some extent they're not, right? Though it is a bit, like all the teachers in my school were like, you can't say that they're communist anymore. Like at my like high school, they were doing this. And then all the students were like, oh, what?
You guys saw that, right? What was that?
Did you step on an IED?
I don't know.
Just a landmine just exploded underneath? Well, no, I know what he was doing. He was doing the put the horns in the ground and then pull up thing. Like
that shouldn't extend that far. If I can't see the effect on the ground, then I shouldn't be able to get hit by it.
Did you use all your shadow upgrades? Is he like winning because of shadow upgrades or something? Like, do you need to use more of those collectibles?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, just...
I don't have any.
Okay, try that.
I don't have any.
Alright. Maybe you should look for more? I don't know. Could he be benefiting from...
Also, I find it so fucking funny that they actually called it the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
I'm literally being sent to the fucking Shadow Realm. Dude. It exists now.
I thought it was a meme.
I would love for them to get sued
by the ghost of
poor kids. They're like, no, that's our concept.
What's his name? Dancing Lion?
The Dancing Lion, yeah, something like that. Let me see what I got to work with. Oh, I'm almost out of poison. Can I make more? Do I have the stuff to make the poison grease? Oh, I don't. Huh. Weird. I can make a poison pot, but I can't make poison grease?
Why has diverse just become everyone's word? Like, why is everyone using diverse?
I don't know, man.
Like,
it used to be a safe word.
They're like the Dancing Lion has a diverse range of attacks. It's like, why don't you say a variety of attacks? Like, it takes... Like, it's just weird. Or they'll say, like, diverse attacks, and it's like, various. What's going on? Why is everyone, like...
Alright.
Why is everyone trying to fuck me in the ass until I'm gay? He has 0 fire resistance.
Okay. So I can use fire against
And he
him.
has 40 magic, lightning, and holy. Negations or absorptions. He has 30 standard physical resistance, 40/30 strike, and 10 pierce. So he's vulnerable to pierce. If you want to pull out your poke. Okay. They don't know if he's parryable.
Oh boy. Alright. Let me give this a shot. Use the fucking DLC grease. Maybe that's what they want me to do. Really? You're opening up with that? You fuck. You fuck. You actual fucking...
Hey, so do you want to thank who gifted you the DLC now?
Ugh. Not every FromSoft DLC is this bad, guys.
Thanks for the gifted DLC.
I promise.
Generous patron. Was it Chest High Walls again?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Thank you, Chest High Walls. Trisha's having so much fun. I like their attitude. They're really like, you know.
Yeah, they're go get 'em.
Yeah, they got a go getter attitude. Because diversity is their strength. TM. Adam, repeat the mantra until it is internalized, comrade. It has worked on so many people.
It's like they actually believe it's a fucking magic spell.
Yeah. There was a guy in Sergeant Salamander's Discord who, like, I was like, man, like, we were talking about, like,
Well, that didn't work.
We were talking about how there's so many different Aryan tribes ended up doing some stuff that's, like, totally different, like the Tokarians, the Aryans, like the Aryan, brand name Aryans, and then, the Scythians are, like, totally different, like, all the different Indo-Aryan, groups are crazy different, very, very unique, and, this guy in the Discord was like, oh man, there's the Aryans are so diverse, and I was like, man, diverse has really conquered over like variety. I was like, man, we're even talking about like Aryans, and we're like diversity, and it's like, Jesus Christ, that word has really gotten the market, and this guy he was like kind of irked. He was like, it's not my fault. In my language, like whatever, like variety is more normal. Like, it's you Americans. And I was like, oh, where are you from? And he's like, France. I was like, oh, congrats on your election. They had like a giant sweep election crushing all resistance for the far right in France. And I was like, he was like, you should come vacation. It's going to be really nice soon. And I'm like, I'm going to stay out for French Revolution 2 Electric Boogaloo, but I'll but maybe someday. And he's like, why? This one's going to be fun. And I was like, well, hold on to your churches, man. Don't you don't want to get any more of those burned down in the fighting. And he's like, oh no, Notre Dame will never happen again, in like all caps. And I was like, oh, okay. All right, man.
Whatever you say, dude.
I mean, I believe him. It's just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of badass seeing a guy just be like, we're not gonna let that happen again. Welcome back, Gil.
So, hear me.
Back from a session of... Oh, sorry. Never mind. Gil's been here. Basil is back from a session of Borderlands 1 with his bro. Welcome back. I saw a knight's greatsword, says Basil with a winky emoji.
So hear me out. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? What's he gonna do?
All right,
huh?
here's...
What's he gonna do?
Now, I appreciate the spirit, but I think we all know that dual wielding in Elden Ring is total fucking garbage.
But look how many hits, huh? Huh?
I don't even think the DPS of a dual wielding attack is faster than two-handing one and hitting light attack multiple times. I know that is retarded, but I believe it's actually like the first two hits happen quicker, but then the third one lowers the average far enough that it's actually faster to just hit two-handing a dagger 3 times. Look, if you put it in both.
Yeah, it's You might be right.
You know, isn't that like the saddest shit you've ever fucking heard of?
It's pretty sad, yeah.
Actually, it might be faster in one hand. I think it's...
Oh, one hand, not two-handed?
I think so. I'm not like 100%, but it feels pretty fast in one hand compared to two. It might be faster in one hand. I think the damage is higher, but it's faster with one hand.
Okay. Let's rock and roll. I think I'm onto something, guys.
Is that it? That's it.
Oh, but then he decided to just turn around and kill me.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
As he does.
So I think the key to beating this guy, Trisha, is that you shouldn't get instantly killed by some bullshit attack you can't see coming.
Yeah, great advice.
But other than that...
Okay.
What a
I'm
shit.
doing great.
This boss is such a shit show.
I hate this boss so much.
Like, what the fuck?
That aesthetic... That...
Okay, you should have seen that one coming, because he keeps on opening with it, but...
He doesn't always open with it, and sometimes it doesn't always hit me. Sometimes it's, like...
I think you should
too
just
far
have
away.
you should just have PTSD about the dust attack and just assume it's happening. I usually like faster attacks and dual wielding visually, so I'd probably be awful in those games. That's the thing, is it looks cool, but it's terrible because you can't roll out of it. Like, you can't interrupt the dual wielding attack, but you can interrupt attacking with one hand. And I'm pretty sure it's... I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is faster dual wielding. I don't think it is, though. I think someone checked it, and it actually is faster with one hand. It's also safer because...
God, the way that he fucking turns is really fucking with me, man. Because he's always just in... He turns around and he's like a million feet away from you. Immediately.
He's
routed.
Yeah, he's routed. It looks cool dual wielding, but, man, it's super garbage.
Yes.
I put a mod on to replace my dodge with that step. What's it called? A bloodhound step.
Yeah, right.
And then I dueled daggers, and it still felt like a challenge run. Like, I was cheating to give my dodge like all the iframes of bloodhound step and all the distance. It was still way worse than just playing like with anything else besides dual wielding. It looks cooler in Elden Ring than it has previously to dual wield daggers. Well, I shouldn't say that. Maybe Dark Souls 2, or not Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3. They had the banded knives or something. They looked nice. Good block. I think that is what the shield is for. The shield is for this phase.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you know what? Just blocking and letting him rot himself.
Oh, okay.
Seems...
I wish the fucking shield guys could just last forever. But you know what? That's not the case.
Nice. Strafe it.
Oh my god, that was so fucking delayed!
I know, he held it. He held it so fucking long.
It's like every time I have to heal for 2 because... Okay, it didn't hit me the first time, but it did the second time.
You actually are missing a flask upgrade. I think. Should they be...
I had blue.
No, I mean,
What hit me? Come on! I'm so sick of it just saying that I got hit without showing anything hit me.
The Flask of Crimson Tears in Elden Ring, what's the max upgrade of that?
No. I allotted flasks, is what I'm saying.
No,
I have 2 in blue.
plus 12 is what you should have. You have plus 8. So you should get more of whatever it is that makes them better.
Oh, fucking...
And you have a total of 14 altogether?
Yes.
Okay, and then what do you need to get the, make it more plus? As seeds for the more uses, but what's the other thing?
Yay.
It's, Flask of Crimson Tears. Sacred Tears, okay. Yeah, we should max out your...
I mean, I don't know what I would have missed.
It's all the churches.
I got all the churches. Well, I mean, well, show me because I'm in the fucking weirdo area.
Shadow realm?
But yeah, I'm in the literal shadow realm.
Can you go to the bonfire and just see if there's an option to upgrade in the UI of the bonfire? Like, did you just not click it? Like,
I mean, it would have been
it would
lit
have
up.
lit up, maybe,
Yeah.
but just see. Maybe it's shitty and gay. Increase amount replenished.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fuck. I mean, there's a bunch of churches I've never heard of, like Stormcaller Church. I don't remember at all.
I don't know, man.
Kalu Baptismal Church in Weeping Peninsula. Third church you've definitely been to. Church Pilgrimage in Weeping Peninsula. Kind of remember. Fourth church in Weeping. Church of Irith in Liurnia. Bellum Church in Liurnia.
Yeah, I don't think I can leave.
Can't leave the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, I don't think I can. Or maybe I have to talk to somebody to leave or something.
I typically see bigger weapons / shields over one-handers used in the streams I've seen, so you're probably right. Yeah. Yeah, the optimal strategy in most FromSoft games is two-handing a big weapon or two-handing a fast weapon. It's almost never dual-wielding and almost never shield and sword. And even in Dark Souls 1 where it is shield and sword, there's this culture of like you're a total faggot if you use a shield and sword, so people don't do it. But it is strong in Dark Souls 1 to use a shield and sword. It's just like,
yeah, right.
Kept thinking Dark Souls 2, which was 10, which is 12 in this. So if you're using 2 flasks to heal up to full, we should find whatever flask you're missing.
Only because this stupid idiot does so much damage.
Yes, but maybe we should go and like pick that up. Just check the different.
I don't think I can leave.
You can.
Well, I don't know how then.
Well, you could always just make a new character. Yes. I don't know.
Just being honest here, I just don't know what I'm doing. That's all.
I would assume by like the first. Well, can you just hit YXA and go back to the round table?
There wasn't an option, so. Oh, he's already in the fucking phase 2? What the why does he sometimes start it early?
You know, I think this boss would be more bearable if there was like any reason to beat him. Because essentially you're beating him so that you can hear more obtuse storytelling from a super pretentious writer. But what if
to progress forward?
Yeah, but like what if the writer was like,
good.
Your hot bitch like princess is trapped behind this like guardian creature. You've got to kill him so you can fuck her brains out. Motivated?
Sure. Yeah.
You know? But it's crazy. People are just like, yeah, I want to hear more obtuse storytelling told to me, and like, yeah. Trisha is slowly shaking her head, and I agree. How are you guys doing? You enjoying not being destroyed by a dancing dragon lion edition.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to do.
You just keep on gambling until he just doesn't use shitty attacks and you win.
Yeah. Seems like that's...
Or you could leave and upgrade your flask.
I don't know how to leave.
Just open up the map travel. Press Y. Press X. Press A. We did it.
Oh.
We did it. Do you want a high five over this, or is this...
Oh, were you?
No, I wasn't, but I just... yeah, I just want...
Oh.
We did it. We did it, chat.
Now where?
Can't wait to see... Can't wait to be destroyed by the CPP boss? CCPP boss? Oh, like the CCP?
Why are you alive? That's weird.
This is like an old save?
No. No, it's not. I don't believe it is. Where's my golden sword?
Is it right there? Down?
No.
One more? Oh, it's the Godslayer. Okay.
Am I using an old save? No, I can't be using an old save.
That seems like something that would happen to me.
Well, you said that you fixed it.
I didn't change any save files.
But it's opening from the mod thing.
Oh. Because it's not... this is the save file before co-op.
Oh, so this is the version of me not beating the game.
Yeah, except...
Is that why I don't have all the fucking...
Here's the thing, though. You have all sorts of like shady shit going on in your inventory.
Yeah,
like,
well, I don't know what the heck's going on.
You have two
it's all
Moonlight
glitched
Greatswords.
out. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so clearly you've done some amount of shady activity with me.
Clearly I've played with you.
Yeah, and like I dropped you.
I don't see the final sword weapon, though.
Because but you beat the game...
I beat the game.
You beat the game before playing co-op with me? Is that right?
No.
Okay, so you did beat the game... Okay, yeah, I remember that, because you were nervous about the mod messing up the end of the game or something.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is actually your save backup before any fuckery. So... I suppose you're probably higher level than 135. You're probably, like, much stronger.
No, I don't think so. And that sucks.
Tell you what, I can play through the stuff that you already beat, so you don't have to do it again.
I don't even remember that what I did and didn't do if this is an old save file. I wasn't prepared to just have it not work anymore.
No, because you didn't do Millennia before we did co-op. You did Millennia after we got co-op.
I found Millennia before, and then you were like, I gotta co-op it with you, right? But I think we didn't use the perfect co-op to beat Millennia.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't. We just played normally.
Well, I think we did.
I don't think so.
Maybe. I don't know. Anyone taking bets on how long the PC will survive? Hey, you. Shh. But welcome. Welcome, David Myers. And we did get your mouse. I don't know if did I post it in the Discord? Or did I forget?
I think you, like, messaged it to me
I did,
instead of posting it to...
No, but then I did after, I think.
Okay.
I think.
I don't know.
Where's the mouse?
It's behind on the shelf in the box, the tiny box.
Ah, yes. have the orb. The orb. I can't like hold an orb like that way without dropping it. But this is gonna be fun. How are we gonna film like you using? Are we just gonna point the camera down at the thing and then show the drawing?
It out.
Like we'll show us and like do the intro and then we'll angle it down at the desk because we don't have two cameras. Normally people would do it with like a bunch of cameras.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. Interesting.
What equipment do they have in there? Because that's some crazy equipment I've never seen before.
What do you mean?
Like buy from the handmaiden in the shop.
Equipment?
This okay, so it's Millennia's armor, and then what's that to the right? Oh, that's the Briarhelm. Okay.
Yeah, the thorny guy.
Yeah, I just thought I might have seen like crazy stuff that wasn't supposed to be there, like from the DLC. I guess not. I didn't know Manfan's name on Discord. Yeah, I guess I'll make a new nickname for the Discord.
Alrighty.
Rename myself.
So, where am I?
Do you think it was just some like lunatic posting with the mouse? I thought I captioned it with something, like I said something of
Where am I going?
that one right there. It's like you see it on the map? Yeah.
I see. And knowing that this is an old save file, I guess that makes more sense. Why are there multiple?
Oh, you know what? We could use my phone to film the, or your phone, actually, because you now have a nice camera on your phone.
Well, we're not gonna do it at the same time. Why are there like 3 different ones? What happened?
Oh, you can place 4. So you probably had others placed from other stuff. What I have to do...
I never do that, though. I always, like, religiously take them off because of situations like these.
Ah. Yeah. What I always end up doing is, like, placing 4 of them and then deleting all 4. Because they don't have a button to just clear. I remember this church. That guy tried to shank you when you enter.
Nothing.
So you have been here. Okay. Alright, I can go down the list of other places. I already know it's gonna be a shit show. It took me weeks to retrain myself to play games with the thing. Yeah, that's like a turn-based only kind of mouse. Third Church America, you have Kalu Baptismal Church in Weeping Peninsula. Want to check out Weeping Peninsula? It's like the bottom right or something, or bottom left, bottom. Okay. I guess do we have the Kalu Baptismal Church? Alright, you have that one. That's what church is that?
What, this?
Yeah, it's Weeping Peninsula.
Church of
Okay, so
America.
we have Fourth Church. That's in Weeping. Do we have the Kalu Baptismal Church in Weeping Peninsula? What about the top there on the left?
This?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a Church of Pilgrimage. Okay, Fourth Church, Kalu, Church of Pilgrimage. Okay, so the last church in Weeping Peninsula is the Kalu Baptismal Church. Let me check the map link and all. See if I can. Kalu Baptismal Church is go to the tree, and then wait. Oh, if there's another tree, I think. Is that another tree? Oh god, this fucking thing isn't my way up. Okay, so it's right here. That building right there on the map.
This?
To the right a little bit and down. That little building there.
This is a building?
You see up a little bit? That like kind of squarish shape? That's a building.
Okay.
Yeah. DPI doesn't matter when you have infinite travel. You don't have infinite travel. You only have one hand. What are you playing Overwatch with like 2 hands? Like.
Alright, well that's not the church, but that is a ruin.
Oh, okay. It's on the It's on the cliff. If you look at the map, zoom in super far. Oh, okay, so directly ahead of you, like directly where you're facing, you should see the church. Actually, if you pan up, that's where it is. Like it's like right up there.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we're doing now is we're upgrading her flasks so she can heal without using multiple swigs. So, but what we can do after the stream is I could get the update for the co-op mod, and then you could launch through that, and that would put you with the save file that you were playing with me with.
Yeah, but then what about this that I just started now?
I suppose
Yeah.
you would like lose that progress and regain the progress that you got playing in co-op.
Yeah, it's just like a huge fucking pain in the ass. That's why I don't like doing these types of stuff, you know?
Right.
Okay. What else are we doing
So
now?
that's a +9, and then we have Leonie of the Lakes. Do we have Church of Erith? That's not that is a lake. That is not the lake.
Yeah, I'm just.
There it is. Yeah. Alright, so we got a church there.
That is Vows.
Church of Vows.
And this over here is Rose.
Yeah, I don't think that one had a.
This is the Bell Fries.
Okay, that must be it right there. If you see that in the middle of the screen. If you go up, and then yeah, see that building there?
This?
Yeah, that's got to be a church. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which one that is, but that's for sure a church.
Say so. That's a good way of getting there.
Oh. There's the church of Erith is the one that Thops was in when you first get into the place. I assume you got the tier there. Sometimes when I do playthroughs, I miss that one. There's a learning curve to not spin the mouse diagonally when you're trying to turn around. Oh my god. Basically, if you have to do a 180, you slap the ball. Dude, that's some straight fucking wizard shit. That's insane.
Slap the ball.
Like, you're literally,
That's so
like,
funny.
using a fucking orb to move your character around. That is exclusively for, like, magic playthroughs of turn-based games. I'll borrow Trisha's orb mouse to immerse myself next time I play some fucking turn-based.
Oh, well, that was the wrong way.
Oh yeah, this thing.
Yeah, well, you know, enemies can't see your fucking
Can't
map.
look at the map. Yeah, that's like the first thing I toggle on when I turn on Cheat Engine is like that, and not having to drop my runes when I die. I don't know how you get up there, by the way, because this is the most frustrating part of the game for me. Was like trying to navigate this map where they're like, oh no, there's a big cliff there, you can't go there. Big cliff there, you can't go there. It's like, am I supposed to explore and find a way, or is this like?
Where?
So I think you can't.
I started there.
I know. I don't think you can get around this way. I think you have to go around.
It
the
just
other way, but I'm
looks
not
like
sure.
I can. That's
It does.
Why
So
it's so
maybe you
confusing.
can. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Because it's like, why would it show that I could if I couldn't?
For finer control, just use your fingers like you're rolling a coin between them, like just like this, just like Oh yeah, no, I could see that. This has got to be the opposite of like accurate though, because I'm thinking, you know, in like Nightfire, like for the GameCube, the control scheme was up and down was the right joystick, the C stick, and the left joystick was turning left and right and moving forward. So, and then I think is strafing on the right C stick. Is that correct? I think so. So you would keep your mouse, or you'd keep your crosshair at the same elevation most of the time. Oh god, this thing.
Where does it see me? Is it over there? Oh yeah, it's over there. Yeah, I already I killed this guy last time, and now it's all like not saved anymore. Ugh. It's annoying.
Well, it is 12:30. I can sort out the save problem. We could just take this save file out, and then I could just rename the extension on the save file. So that the save for the co-op will just work as the save file for the regular game. I don't know if that'll like cause some kind of save corruption, or not save corruption, but I don't know if that'll cause some kind of like
well, like all the stuff I did in the DLC won't be there anymore.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so I'd have to get back.
But
I guess that is technically less work.
Yeah, I mean, but also you'll be a stronger character, and I can like, I don't know, I'll make it up to you. I don't know.
Ooh, where the heck is this fucking?
I can add some items or something.
It's up here.
Yeah, if you remember, it was where you fought the guy with the 2 spears, the invader guy. Yeah, that's the church. Yeah, so that's why you're getting off the horse, is because he's invading.
Great.
Nice. Just past the threshold.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, there's a lady sitting in a chair, and she has the tear. I guess I was incorrect.
Now you know why he's mad. But
You didn't even actually use the weapon art with any magic. You just fucking got him.
Dude, this weapon art is good from the beginning to the game all the way to the DLC. Don't knock Wild Strikes.
Never tried to draw with it, but
although
in games...
It's kind of like pointless because you're just going to switch out the saves anyway.
I'll reward you for your efforts. I don't know. I'll add some extra stuff.
Alright. Well, you're right. It is getting late. So why don't we just chill for the rest of the stream?
I'm sorry.
We can talk about the convention because we didn't really get to talk about it last time.
Yeah.
Since the stream emergency shut down and whatnot.
Yeah. So it was cool. Yeah, I mean, we sold a bunch of stuff.
You know, I should have noticed that when I was looking at my stats. I should have noticed that it was weird.
Because I asked you, I was like, weren't you higher than 135? And you were like, no. And I was like, all right, well, you know your character better than me.
No, yeah, should have been looking at the actual stats themselves, because I remember I remember re-speccing a few different times, but I don't know, man.
It's alright.
Yeah, that's whatever.
We'll do the DLC on a much lower difficulty because you'll be a much better character. You'll be like all jacked.
I mean, I was already doing pretty well on the DLC, just like fucking wild striking the shit out of everybody. But, you know.
Maybe come down to Ocean City, Maryland Comic-Con sometime? Nah. Nah, it's too far.
I mean, a lot of people go to conventions, all over the place. The problem is, I can't go to really far conventions without some sort of guilt that comes with it, because I know we won't make back table fee, and then it'll just be a big,
that is a thing, right?
We're very money conscious, you know?
We've made back our table fee at exactly one convention, and that is because I sold an order of soap to,
Well, no, we also made back the table fee at PucciCon.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
But...
That was a small con, too. It's always the smaller ones.
The Poconos one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
That one we did make our table fee back, but we didn't make a ton of money. It was a respectable amount. And by the way, that con was super shit, and everyone was super pissed. All the other vendors were mad. They were they overcharged us. We didn't make any money, and we just we did decently. Yeah. And we weren't even selling super hard.
Yeah, we did decently, but it was a small convention. Mm-hmm. I'll give them that. The table fee wasn't atrociously high, but you thought that it was going to be bigger than it was. And the hotel that they had the convention at was a pricey vacationer hotel, so maybe they just thought there'd be more attendees.
And we had a food discount, but we probably, between food and gas, we didn't make a ton, right? When you add it all up, it was But most other conventions, we don't make table fee back, or we make it back barely, and then you have to take out gas, and then some of them we do hotels, and then that just destroys any possibility of
one of them we did a hotel.
Yeah, some of the well,
I'm just thinking about the New Hampshire one. That was atrocious.
That was atrocious. Yeah, that was more complicated though, because I didn't want to stay I don't know. I was because I was my dad said he had points for a bunch of different hotels, not just a certain one. And then I was like, oh, do you have points for this hotel or whatever? And he's like, oh, when do you need a room? I was like, then. And he's like, oh, I don't have any points, but I'm gonna book it or whatever. I was like, okay, fine, but only these days or whatever. He got us an extra day. He was like, no, you should stay overnight, which kills my soul, because it's just a bunch of money wasted for no reason, because I don't want to. I'm not staying. We didn't stay. We left. We were same day that same day that the fair ended, we left. But then it's just throwing more money in the trash. It's no, but it's he doesn't understand. It's not like a vacation. This is our job. We're trying to make money, and then it's just putting another $200 onto how much we lost. Sucks. It's a whole drive home. It's just man, burned another. Just took $200 and threw it in the trash. Just set it on fire, and it's and then everyone has to tell us about it. Fucking everyone has to tell us that we wasted $200. It's it's the guy at when I'm checking in, the guy at the desk is oh yeah, I can't give you a refund on the last day or whatever. There's a note in the file now because he was asking for the refund. And it's yeah, I know. And he's yeah, well, there's a stickler because you booked it through a third party site, so they don't do any refunds. And it's I know, I've heard. It's just and then we're checking out. It's oh, by the way, no refund. A different person that I haven't talked to. Yeah, I know. It sucks. We sold we didn't sell fucking anything, and now we just burned all this money on the super exorbitant table fee to be stuffed into a fucking closet that no one found through the whole convention, And on top of that, we just threw a bunch of money from the hotel to the trash. But this con is like in New Jersey, and everything in New Jersey is kind of 30 minutes away, more or less. Unless you're talking about like southern Jersey, which is like a totally different state. So we just like drove there. We didn't have to pay a hotel, and we didn't make table fee back, but we didn't lose like an atrocious amount of money. And then also you have to kind of have this dream that some of the people that took a business card are gonna buy later, which is like,
or have some sort of business deal with you, or
yeah,
big important people at these conventions.
Yeah, so like at some of these conventions, like even if we didn't make table fee back, like I made a connection with someone who wanted to have soap made for their brand, and we did a couple orders of soap for them with the Stone Clean, so that like ended up making it making the table fee plus a bunch back like after the fact. So you make connections at these places, so it's like, it's fine. And we did like meet some Comicscape people in person, so it's a little different than online, and so like maybe now they'll, I don't know, want to work with us or something. And like we had dinner with like a Comicscape guy or whatever, so it was like, I don't know, maybe that's like a business thing or something. Do you guys have a company? Because you probably write off some of the expenses as business expense.
No, we do.
I don't make enough money to even pay like taxes at the end of the day. Like I have so many losses, so I'm like super not even. Yeah. I like when I do my taxes, it's like, oh, here, write into your business expenses, and it's like, yeah, man. Because as a writer, right, the amount of business expenses you can write off is like basically everything. Because if you eat out, right, a lot of eating out is like a business expense. I don't even bother like with those because I already have so many expenses. But like if I buy a video game, that's a business expense because that's me doing story research, right? And it's not even a lie. Like I do look at stories in other media. So if I go out to see a movie, that's a business expense. And like there's other people who like have tax people do their taxes, and they talk about all the same things that I'm saying. I'm not like making this up.
Yeah, of course.
But like if you buy a video game, if you buy music, if you buy a book, obviously a comic book, obviously, those are all business expenses. The gas riding to these places and back, I also calculate and write that off. The table fees, the hotels, they're all business expenses. Which would be cool, like if I made so much money that I was paying a ton of taxes and I wanted to like offset my taxes.
You're right. Yeah, it doesn't make anything free exactly, but yeah.
I did see you put boobs front and center on the con poster. That had to help. I can only hope.
Right. Sometimes I worry that it also like scares people away, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I mean, to be honest, we sold a bunch, and like the second day I really hit my groove, and there were more people like in a buying mood. The second day, I think the first day everyone was like trying to scan through everything. A lot of people didn't come the second day, right? But the people that went both days were buying on the second day. That's how I am usually. I want to walk around and pick out what I want to buy, and then like make a little mental list, and then go back.
That's fair.
And that's what I did. I made a mental list the first day, then I went and bought. I bought some prints, which will probably end up in the background of our videos. You know what? I mean, I guess I could like run up and like grab them to show stream because it's kind of a cute story.
Yeah. If you want it, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, convention was pretty decent. See, we also got what is it? Cordrath? Is that it? So a barbarian comic, and Adam likes Conan, so I thought, oh, maybe like more barbarian fantasy would be kind of his speed, and guy working on it was based. So what more could you ask for there? But yeah, I bought a print too. I bought a I bought a Bloodborne print, although I've never played Bloodborne. You know, I like the Souls-like stuff, so...
Oh, yeah, I didn't grab your Bloodborne.
No, it's fine.
But yeah. So this was a cute story. There's a guy who... by a comic user's reference, that's right up. Correct, yeah. You use a cell phone for work. What about 2 drawing tablets? Yeah, I mean, you definitely use a cell phone for work. Social media posts, of course. Taking photos, yeah. But anyway, there was a guy there who was like an older guy. He was still like rocking. He was still rocking out though. He had like long. He was bald on top, but he had like long hair, and it looked cool on him. You know, it was like he was making it work. His girlfriend was an artist who had passed away, who was like honestly better than him. Like her work is like amazing, but he sells her work and his work to keep her legacy alive, and I thought that was such a beautiful like sentiment or whatever, and I was like oh, like, you know, sorry for your loss or whatever. No, it's been like a while, but you know, still like, and he was like, oh, I'm so happy to hear you say that. And I had a nice little conversation with this guy, and yeah. And her work is fucking beautiful, right? I don't know how big.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I don't know how well they can see that, if it's like in the corner, or if you can do the. Is there the others? Oh yeah, you just do that. Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. It's like a little. Oh, there we go. That's perfect. Yeah, you can't exactly see the colors super well with this like yellow light pouring on me, but the color is beautiful in the sky. Like the mix of blues and purples is just like the prettiest fucking night sky you've ever seen. And then he's got this like birdman / werebird / angel / whatever she's doing there. Yeah. And her work is super cool, and then his work, I saw this like pencil, I like that, like an inked drawing thing I got. It was this mermaid, right? And this was finished the previous week before he came to the show.
Still working at it.
And the improvement, like his other work wasn't really on par with what I would like want on my wall. But this is, and this is something he did last week, and it just goes to show, like, you can improve, like, just to see his he's still improving. I think, honestly, it seems like a lot of his work stagnated for a long time, and then it started improving, like, pretty rapidly, because, like, newer stuff I noticed was, like, getting really good, like, in the last, like, year or two. But, like, before that, it was all kind of, like, fine. And I don't know, maybe, like, he was just, like, chilling with his hot artist girlfriend and was, like, enjoying life and just not caring that he got better, and now he's like focusing on it more. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
But
maybe he's got some motivation now that he's going to like conventions and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of cool to see, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of cool people.
I'm sometimes a little bit hesitant to look at some stuff that pushes sexy too much with how much they've removed sex appeal in some art, though I've changed my mindset some. So, you know, I feel like there's a lot to be said for, like, making love sexy again, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, so there was I bought a comic from a guy who was, like, making a new Barbarian comic where it's, like, Enchantress chick. Oh, yeah, this thing. So it's like Enchantress chick, and then this barbarian dude with a big axe, or whatever. And he was like, oh, there's a sex scene in the first issue, but we didn't put a sex scene in the second issue because it wasn't necessary, because we'd already established their relationship. And I thought that is like exactly what is wrong. I didn't say this, but I'm like, that is exactly what is wrong with sexuality in media, is that like, if you look at like if you watched like the first season of Goblin Slayer, which I did, I like actually I ground through that absolute like fucking degenerate trash, because there were so many people that were like telling me that it was like good, including someone who'd been raped. She was like, "Oh no, it's worth it," and I'm like, "All right, I guess if it's that good, it was."
I mean, at least they kill goblins and that they're all evil.
Yeah.
Even the babies.
Right. Right. Even the goblin babies they murder, but and so for there is that to be said for it, that the goblins are actually evil, but there is definitely like there's definitely a certain amount of the audience that's just like turned on by like goblin porn, right? So, but anyway, like that degenerate weirdo sex stuff is flooded into that content, right? The amount of sexual content that shows up in Goblin Slayer is astronomically high when compared to anything that's wholesome. And I just wonder, like, and so like
right, and then when you have like a wholesome romance, it's like holding hands, how lewd, right?
right. And so I'm thinking, like, this guy's making a barbarian comic or whatever, and they have a sex scene, and it's like, you know, properly erotic and whatever. Then he cuts a sex scene from the second issue because it doesn't need to be there. And I just think, like, so if you're like a horny middle schooler and you're like seeking that kind of content out, where are you like finding it? Because you're probably seeing like one wholesome sex scene and then like 10 goblin rape scenes in your like manga / comics consumption. And I just think that's like terribly unbalanced. Like, I don't know, it's just like when people like, I don't know, when people pop open like a when people like they make a joke and they say some like sexual situation or whatever, they shouldn't be defaulting to like the like casting couch or some kind of like weirdo sex thing, because I feel like there is something corrosive to mankind about that. Like I mentioned like previously, like the cuck stuff is like really bad for just like society, because it's kind of like and rape stuff, because it's like, oh, that you see, there's no point in me seeking out a relationship, like, oh, this stuff, and I feel like it appeals to people like those like MGTOW guys that are just like totally given up on all women, and they're like, yeah, wife bots, like whatever, oh, my wife bot can't cuck me, whatever. It's like such a, it's like, yeah, it's just such a failure of like mankind. But like, and I think it's like fueled by sort of like whatever you want to term like the sort of shitty weird sex stuff that shows up in media.
Right. It is a shame to, like you were saying before, have like a lot of people who only want to incorporate sexuality when it's in a negative light, such as rape or some sort of fetish, or, you know, some sort of drama or love triangle or cheating. And it's like none of those things are positive. None of those are making you even subconsciously think about love or relationships in a positive light.
Yeah. Yeah, and like what was it? Andrew Clavin had like some video where he was talking about like how he justifies like watching Game of Thrones, because he's like, oh, that's technically porn, and I'm like anti-porn or something. And he was like, oh, well, if it's necessary for the plot, it's art, and like, oh, if it like shows this trauma or something like that. But it's kind of hacky to show a relationship progressing by using a sex scene, and it's like, okay. So he's still captured by like the leftist idea that it's like hacky to show a sex scene to like establish a relationship, because that is like the motivation behind that is purely like leftist like entropy, right? Whereas like
it's like, oh, get a room, you two.
But like if we're being real, like if you can't show if you can't show the danger of a monster without having it rape someone, you suck. You're a terrible writer. Like, there's no reason you can't have a scary, like, manticore or a chimera. Like, it breathes fire, it shoots acid, it kills creatures. There's no reason you can't show that as being threatening without having it, like, sexually assault something. That's retarded. Like, people just, I don't know. And, like, you know, you like pop up in like a random manga, and then, like, all of a sudden it's like a goblin sex dungeon in like the first like chapter, and it's not erotic. There's no nudity, but they just have piles and piles and piles and piles of like it's piled to the ceiling literally with dead naked girls that they've sexually violated.
Oh my god.
And I'm just like, this isn't even porn. Why did you...
Everyone is trying to be berserk.
It's just like, why... Like, why is their perception of goblins, like, so cemented like this? It's like, the amount
good night, Gabe.
Oh, good night, Gabe.
Yeah.
The amount of, like, porn consumption just warped the entire genre of, like, fantasy in Japan to all goblins are, like, rapists. And it's like, why? Why are you... Why so captured? Like... To some extent, you benefit from having people be familiar with fantasy, and so like they know what a goblin is, they know what an orc is, they know what a minotaur is. You're leaning on the genre as a whole, but when the genre as a whole is corrupted to the point where people start to imagine that all orcs and goblins are like serial rapists that are attracted to human females because of the deluge of porn content, it brings down the whole genre of fantasy. Like, if I'm selling a book to someone, or I'm talking about my book, I don't want someone to be like, haha, is there... I don't want that to be this, like, creeping corruption that moves into what I enjoy so much.
Half-orcs, am I right?
Yeah, it's just, like, such, like, weirdo loser nonsense. And so, you know...
The goblin thing lately has been really weird. Yeah, I don't know what else does it besides Goblin Slayer, but I'm sure there are other things out there.
There's also like a big meme with goblins where it's like goblin women like human men because like the size difference or whatever.
Ooh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, so that's like less bad than the weirdo like goblin rape stuff.
Disconnected and reconnected.
To the internet.
I mean, OBS just said, "Oh, disconnecting and reconnecting." So I don't know.
Huh. I don't know. I find it less like destructive to mankind, but it's still like not amazing.
Yeah, David Myers was like, "Did we lose him?" And then it's like it's buffering on my end too. It looks fine now, though. It looks fine, like at least in the YouTube Studio stream.
Okay.
So. Hopefully it's fine for everybody else.
We back? We back,
I
boys?
know that there's also like a big delay for chat, so.
But,
There's been some short stack focus in some parts online, so maybe there's that too.
Yeah, I know about the horse guy. Whatever his name was, where his like horse porn popped up when he was streaming.
Volsh.
Yeah, that. By the way, if you think about, I only realized this like a couple days later. Like when you save something in private browsing, or was it incognito mode, it goes back to the desktop or whatever your like default save location is, downloads or desktop, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want it to go to your downloads folder, you then have to reselect your downloads folder or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
So like whatever you, because it's gonna default to whatever you're saving, I guess in your regular, because your computers usually it defaults to the desktop, so it must be like whatever you're saving to in your standard like browser. So that means that this guy not only is so depraved, like he's depraved on so many levels. He looks up pornography of horses raping children. Not in incognito mode. That's how fucking insane this guy is. Like, he doesn't even open an incognito browser for that. That's fucking, like, extra levels of fucking communism. That is communism enhanced.
That guy's a weirdo, yeah.
But anyway, like, my point being is, like, I haven't read this thing, so I don't know, like, I haven't read the second issue, certainly, so, because it doesn't exist. So I don't know how necessary or unnecessary it is to show their relationship progressing in the second issue by showing a naked sex scene. So, and I'm sure you could show it without it.
Of course, yeah.
But you could also avoid weirdo sex stuff and still show threat or danger or negative feelings. And I just feel like there's more of a tendency for people to, I don't know, to just shy away from positive depictions of sex because it's like theoretically hacky. It's the same thing where people are afraid of happy endings because it's supposed to be hacky because leftists have cried about them for so long.
Yeah, right? What's with all the people bitching about happy endings? They're awesome.
I just think it's some kind of like, I think it's just like some kind of residual leftist corruption where like they're just like, oh no, it's
the world is sad.
It's hacky if you show a happy sex scene. That's not
if
right.
you write a happy scene, then it means that you're writing for children.
Yeah.
Because it's not real.
And like, it's like, oh, it's obviously a like I had some class where we read Neuromancer, and there's a sex scene in Neuromancer which is like terrible. I don't know. I found it not erotic in the slightest. But it's not, and it's not really a happy sex scene. It's like very neutral. It's like very disconnected, right? And the main character is like this drug addict who, like, he's really good at hacking. So these people he owes money to abduct him and cut out his liver and replace it with like a robot liver, like a cybernetic liver that's like super expensive cybernetic liver. And they're like, it's free. It's like free liver, but they're like, we just need you to be very crystal clear when you're working for us. So they want him to pay back his debt, and they forcibly put in a cybernetic liver that will make it impossible to get high.
Okay.
And so this guy, even though he is no longer addicted because they've like injected him with like detox stuff, he still is just such a loser that he can't find like motivation in the world. And so he is still like seeking drugs.
He's still trying to get high.
He's still an empty person even without the addiction. And so he still wants the drugs, and he takes them and they don't do anything. And that's like part of, and so then he lusts after this girl, and then they end up having sex, and she's more into it than him. And like the description is everything is from his perspective, right? And he doesn't really care. And like the description, like, and then but anyway, the teacher's interpretation of it, because it was like a straight sex scene that wasn't negative, he was like, oh, obviously this is written as a man's masturbation material because he's gay or something, so he hates it. And it was not at all. Like, she's described as impaling herself on him over and over. And I was like, impaling? Ugh, that's a little
that's
fucking...
a little aggressive, but okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't like it wasn't like unpleasant. It was just kind of very like, wow, this guy is such a like, his dopamine receptors are so burned out on like drugs and stuff, he can't even like enjoy sex. Like he's so fucked up. And he's very like he's very like room temperature like through the whole book. He doesn't really get excited over stuff. You don't see his motivation. You don't see his passion for anything. And it does make the book quite a slog to read through. It's interesting, but it's like, so.
yeah, sure.
I do get the argument where people are like, you need to have your characters be motivated or the book is bad. And it's like, obviously not, since Neuromancer is like a masterwork and everyone thinks it's like the cornerstone of all cyberpunk literature, and like it's like a necessary read. Like the guy who wrote Cyberpunk 2020's like rule set that Cyberpunk 2077 is based off of, he wrote in his inspirations at the end of his book, Neuromancer, and then a couple other things. And then he wrote Neuromancer again at the end. He was so influenced by Neuromancer. And you could see it because a bunch of the augments in Neuromancer show up in all the Cyberpunk properties. So
makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like if the sex scene isn't rape, it's considered like hacky, porny, weirdo stuff. And it's like, and I've been in like writing workshops where people critique stuff, and if there's anything like sexual or titillating or anything, people will have a problem with it unless it's like negative in some way.
Yeah, and that's just no way to live, really. Because how can you like walk away from that and not have a pessimistic view on the world or relationships or anything like it?
Yeah, like someone wrote a story in some writing workshop where at the end this girl shows up who's like very anime, is like kind of the character.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Like she like feels like an anime female villain. She's dressed up like kind of like a schoolgirl, and she's got like cleavage is like described, and she has a short skirt, and she's blowing bubble gum or whatever, and then she has like magic powers, and she's like real dangerous, and she has these like bodyguards, right?
Yeah, okay, sure.
And I read that and I was like, oh, so it's like it's more intimidating because she's attractive, and it's like a teenager is like the main character. And so, like, what I was getting out of that was like, oh, she's extra intimidating to him, and he's kind of reacting to her being scary in a way that, like, a muscly man cannot be intimidating. A pretty girl is far more intimidating most of the time, because, some people aren't afraid of dying, but they're still afraid of a pretty girl laughing at them instead of with them.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
But,
What in the fuck? Famously, James Cameron was making an 80s horror title, and the producer wanted a topless scene so he can compete with the Italian films being sent over. He made it a graphic rape scene by the alien. Jesus Christ.
In hopes the censors would veto it, but they allowed it. Oof.
So he took his name off the film.
That's one of those, when you put in, like, the red herring, but then, like, the producer actually likes it. That's brutal.
Happy endings and a resolved story are just satisfying too. Most of the time, the world is happy. To be honest, like, you drive to the grocery store, you pick up your groceries, you smile at someone, someone drops something, you pick it up and they thank you. And that's, like, most of life. And then, like, sometimes you're, like... But it makes a far more interesting story if you say, my car exploded in the parking lot.
Sure.
Part of this is because humans are tremendously skilled problem solvers, as evidenced by the fact that we no longer have grass growing on our trails. We've put asphalt there. We no longer have, like, trees growing through our houses. We've put foundations. Like, we have solved many, many problems. And we focus on problems. That's part of why we're so fixated on negativity and problems in the world. And it's part of why a lot of people have a tremendous problem being positive.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. And, so I feel like it makes people shy away from positive, like, happy endings in stories, but not only are happy endings, like, good for you, they're real. Like, they really happen. People really just, like... And then, there's all these, like, doomer pills that people swallow, like, I mean, particularly on the left, but not just on the left. Where, like, my brother was like, oh, well, a story's only happy depending on where you end it. And I was like, okay. So, like, this elderly couple, they have a bunch of kids, and then their kids all have kids, and they have all the grandkids over in their big house because they're so successful in life and whatever. And then they discover that the grandparents have, like, passed away in their sleep, embracing each other in the night, and the grandson that discovers them has, like, a moving moment with his uncle, where his uncle talks to him about being a man, and then he acts like a man and does nice things for his sister, and, like, we could just keep on going and going and going and going.
Yeah,
right?
well, there's a reason why a lot of fairy tales end with happily ever after.
Yeah.
It's because they want you to imagine that their life after was as happy as, like, it could be.
A sad ending isn't an eventuality. Like, the fact that people have to turn the story towards negativity just because they naturally are inclined to turn like that, because their steering alignment is permanently shifted to Doomerville, doesn't mean that that's a straight path. That's most certainly they're curving you towards negativity. The natural extension of the story is usually positive. If you've solved the story, it's not going to go to negativity. It's like, if the primary conflict of the story is resolved, like, and then also some people will write a story that is curved from the beginning over to negativity, and that's just them. That's just who they are as a person. They are a negative person, and so they cannot write something positive. Especially depressed people, like, they tend to write doomer bullshit. But
yeah. No, for sure. But anyway, I guess we should wrap up stream, because it is getting pretty late, and I'm getting pretty tired.
Yeah, and anyway, to conclude, I think, like, putting positive sex scenes and stuff, and, like, positive depictions of sex with, like, people in love and stuff is a good thing. And I think while it's not, like, necessary all the time, you could always write around something. I don't think it really makes it hacky. I think that's, like, a tired idea that, like...
Yeah, no, I think it's a really bad habit to just, like, not want anything happy ever, and to, like, prevent other people from seeing happy things. It's
There-
like that's part of what inspires us is also by seeing happy things.
Yeah, there's like this big barrier people put between like sex and like media, and then they'll breach it for some reasons and not others. And I think like I don't know. I think like some things are seen as more indulgent, like just two people being happy and whatever. Super happy content, super happy ideas, I think make people more uncomfortable than super sad and like depressing ideas. Like I think people are more inclined now to accept a post-apocalyptic future than they are to accept a super utopian future. Like there's like, oh, there must be something wrong with this like utopia, like, and you have to really like twist it far to like sometimes these utopias it's like, well, what's wrong with it? It's like oh, they're racist against the people in the other place. And it's like, okay. But their society's perfect and they have no crime and stuff. So it's like, you know, they have to really find a thing to make it negative a lot of times. But, you know, I don't know. Because a lot of times I'll discuss with people, like, a super happy part of a sci-fi that I want to put into the story, and they'll get a lot of pushback. And I don't get that pushback when I talk about stuff that's like horrible and bad and sad. And I just think there's like a yeah.
Yeah, and I also understand why like some people who are like feeling bad just want something to be like
Agree with them?
well, you know, like to be like so that they don't feel alone and like being sad at least at that moment, but they should also strive to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like even sad stories can have a happier ending or have an ending where it's like everything's gonna be okay.
You could probably do both. You could probably have a sad story swing into happy pretty
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Anyway, all of this to say, I strive to put sexiness in my stories and have it be happy.
Yes.
So,
and I think that's a
forward to
good
that.
thing to strive towards.
Yeah. We did it in Horizon Quest, and I did it in Treading Water and
Slayer.
Slayer in the White Valley, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to, like, tune the eroticism up or down or however, but I think it's, like, a good thing to include in a story is, like, you know, happy, wholesome fucking. Even if it's not, like, actual, like, sex, like, mentioned in the story, some element of that is, like, I think a useful ingredient to, like, you know, make a story better. And I've talked, like, all weekend to all sorts of random strangers about the intrinsic connection between, like, romance and combat and stuff.
Of course.
So I don't want to go into that whole tirade. Not tirade, but, like, that whole spiel. So I won't go into that now. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream.
Yeah, and we'll be back to play more Elden Ring DLC soon.
You want people to have positive examples. Tragedies have their place, but it's fair to say people don't only want that. Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate you guys being here, and look forward to the orb drawing challenge soon. We'll figure out how to film that, and
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be really fun.
Well, until then.